Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're all very, very welcome to your favorite call-in show, the Call-in Khan Show on a Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning, wherever the case is, wherever you're tuning in from. You're very, very welcome. We had to do a call-in show today because of no football. We need to keep that energy going, to keep each other going. Like without football, without this it's this depression mode, isn't it? I mean, I know we got internationals and we've got charity games to talk about, and God knows what else to talk about. But we have to talk. That's the main thing, right? Especially in this day and age. Bilal, talk to me.
Yeah, man, 100%. And today was the day I knew it was the international break. I'm going on my phone. I'm seeing Trent debates. I'm seeing Lampard, Gerrard, De Bruyne, Scholes. I'm seeing all sorts. I think I saw a Drogba better than Henri thing coming up the other day as well. This is what happens in the international break. People are just bored and the debates happen and it's all chaos. And today, at least, you had a bit of a charity game that I think a lot of people watched. I think I saw 2.2 million people watching this stream that was going on with the sidemen and all of that. So big up to those guys. They provided some good entertainment. And that's got me thinking as well, maybe an all-star game in the future. Maybe that could be something we could try. Maybe one time, try it out. If it doesn't work, fair enough. But I think today even showed, I don't know. And people want entertainment at the end of the day. It's an entertainment game. So
I'm not gonna lie to you. That was the best entertainment of the season so far. Let's call a spade a spade. It may not be everyone's cup of tea. Some of the characters, some of the personalities, some of the normal guys in there may not be everyone's cup of tea. But in terms of the effort and the work that's involved in putting on something like that and then making over £1 million for charity, hats off to them. I don't see anyone should have any issue with that. That was so brilliantly put. You can put aside your little like you might have disagreements with some of the personalities on show or not be too much of their fans, but it was entertainment of the highest order. Like 15 goals. And you know what? Okay, obviously some of the keeping was sus, but some of the strikes were neat, bro.
exactly, and that's what you want to see, especially like these charity games. That's why Soccer Aid normally does well because you got that mix of just normal people, and then you got some pros in there. Okay, they're elite, they can do their thing. But when it's normal people, it's just chaos, and that's what made it so fun to watch. That's entertainment, and yeah, for an international break, there's no harm in it. And when you're raising the money for charity, yeah, of course you got to big them up. So for me, that was fun, and that kid Speed. Don't know what he's on, but he was
So
box
yeah,
office.
it
Box
could be in the
office.
name. It could be on the name what he's on. But all I'm saying is this guy. But you know what? That was so much better than the usual. As you started off by talking about the debates on Twitter when there's an international break. Like people are looking for anything and everything and any argument just to spark off reactions and interactions and just and obviously it starts off like banter and joking and it just escalates. Like today I woke up and I see my brother, shout out Culture Cam, he's my friend still, but he came out with some bait headline about Trent's creativity and he ain't creative and this and that. So I just had to fight back and stand my boy Trent's corner. That was fun and games in the morning. And then you see, as you said, you must have seen different debates about Drogba, and we saw the KDB and Gerrard debate and all kinds of. It is what it is, isn't it? This is what
Bro, it's nuts. I saw someone say like Henri isn't a top player because he never scored in a final or whatever. But did you watch some of these finals? Did you see how he played? Did you see some of the assists he's got? So just because he's got one little maybe okay, didn't score, fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough. But he's not a top player anymore. So all these sort of arguments I'm seeing during the international break, they just make me laugh. And always by next week we'll go back to normal. The games will be back and yeah, I think
nobody
next
will
week
have
as
time.
well.
Basically, nobody will have time.
Yeah, exactly.
At the moment, people are looking like football. No football, shit. Okay, national team, man, because nobody wants to look. We might as well touch upon it. I actually saw the game. I watched it. Okay, I watched it. I was bored. There was nothing else to do. I watched England versus Italy. I looked at that Italy team, and I thought to myself, this is one of the weakest Italy teams I've seen in a while. Like no pace in the defense, no pace in them through the spine of the team. Skamaka up front, who's a target man. No real pace without Chiesa. that Raspadori, yeah, we spoke about him before because he plays for Napoli. We've done the Eurostars show a couple of times. And I was thinking, this Italy team is whack, man. And I was thinking, you know what? England could hurt them. And I totally forgot that the manager of England is Gareth Southgate. And he got this team playing like the teams that he played for. Middlesbrough, Villa, Palace. All them teams were used to just defending. Most of them played 5 at the back, if I remember correctly. Someone remind me. I'm pretty certain he spent most of his career playing in a back 5. I'm pretty certain. I'm not 100% sure. And he's got that mentality when he's got some of the best talent available, possibly in Europe. Saka, Grealish, Sancho, Bellingham, Sterling, Kane, Foden. And they haven't scored in 500 minutes or something?
Yeah, they haven't scored in 5 games, apparently. The only goal was a penalty. Honestly, I'm not joking. Yeah, every time I watch England, I take a paracetamol after because it's actually mind-numbing. Like I'm being serious. I have physical reactions to watching England play. It is so painful watching them trying to pass the ball. It's so negative, and you know when he sets the team up so negative, everything ends up just going back. There's no ideas
so
going
slow, so slow.
But yeah, it's so dead. It's so hard to watch. Honestly, it's a hard watch. Luckily, I had Brazil and Ghana in the corner. I was watching saw some Ghana.
You smart.
I was enjoying a bit of T-table, but England was still on the main screen, man. So I couldn't avoid seeing what was happening. And yeah, bro, it's just painful to watch.
I don't even know, man. Like, I might as well ask you about this, bro. Like, because it's your boy, innit? Saka. Like, when you saw that, what did you think?
Bro,
or did you think he could do a job there?
Listen, of course he can do a job there because he's a good player. I'm not debating of course he can do a job there. He's a good player. But I saw that Rio Ferdinand and your boy Culture Cam, they were doing a little video saying Saka should go left wing back. I think Southgate was listening to that, and he's decided to play a guy who, for me, is England's best right winger. You know, he's played right wing pretty much for the last, I think, 2 seasons now, out and out. The only time he started playing left back was or left wing back was when Emery came in, and then at the beginning of Arteta's reign, before he actually put him in his correct position. So the kid's been playing right wing for years now, and all of a sudden you play him left wing back. You see, he's the angles, everything. He's not used to it anymore.
Different.
That was a long time ago. You can't just get it back in a second.
And you're expecting it to put it back in an international against, all right, not the best Italian team of recent times, but still an Italian national team, organized. Like, they may not have the talent, but they'll be organized and they'll be physical under Mancini at least. Like, they may not have the actual personnel to elevate the game to where the levels that they've been to, but you're asking Saka to play in an international that, like you said, he hasn't played left back for years, probably. I don't know exactly.
He hasn't.
Right?
He hasn't. Even sometimes when Arteta throws the kitchen sink at games, as we've seen recently, he'll play like a 3 at the back, but he's got Martinelli on the left and then Saka on the right a lot of the time. Still, even though it ends up just becoming 3 at the back, like proper 3 at the back, not with wing backs. So for me, I don't understand, and that's just one aspect of it. For me as well, there's certain players I think we need to start talking about. One cough, Declan Rice. I want to start with Declan Rice for me.
Really?
This kid is getting This kid at this point, he's a good player, good little prospect there. But the way he's been hyped up and talked about, he is not it. We do the Eurostars show. We talk about Tonali a lot of the times. Yeah, we've been talking about Lobotka. Like serious midfield players that can actually take the ball, have good passing range. For me, Declan Rice, I watch him play. And I don't know if anyone else is seeing this. The passing range sometimes just not there. It's very basic what he's doing. And a lot of the big games that I watch him playing, and I'm thinking as well, because I'm an Arsenal fan, I've watched him play against Arsenal a few times, and every time gets bullied. I'm gonna keep it real. Wow. Gets bullied and torn apart. For me, he's not a player who can be a lone 6 right now. Maybe in the future, I don't know. But that's why I'm hoping Calvin Phillips gets fit. Yeah, and he can do that job there, because when Calvin Phillips was under Bielsa, in the Championship and in the Premier League, that whole system revolved around Calvin Phillips just being that glue, and maybe he's the answer. But then again, Southgate at the end of the day he can't coach a 4-3-3. He can't do it. So for me at this point, I would sack Southgate today, get someone else in. Yeah,
we can't really sack him before the World Cup.
Listen,
just before the World Cup.
You can.
Man.
At this rate, is this team doing anything in the World Cup? they'll be lucky to score at least 3 goals at this point. So for me, I know people say it's too close to the World Cup. Just get it
Yeah.
done. A bit more energy. Even someone like, honestly, I think if Brendan Rodgers gets sacked from Leicester, just get him in. But someone was telling me Brendan Rodgers won't take the job because of his I don't know, beliefs or his Northern Irish, all of that. So I don't know about that. That's a different debate. But if it was possible, you get someone like him in. Even get me a little Arsene Wenger, man. Honestly, I'm starving. Just
A
let
little
the boys
Arsene
play.
Wenger, a
Yeah.
little Arsene Wenger.
Yeah,
Arsene Wenger will be a major pull, bro. Arsene Wenger will be like, that will be prime coach if they've got someone like Arsene Wenger. People, let us know in the chat. Do you think Southgate should be sacked before the World Cup? Because it can't run. You can't run like that. That's not serious. That's not, if you're sacking a manager, sack him beforehand. You can't manage him. You can't just like literally a couple of months before the World Cup, if that. And if so, if you do think he should be sacked, who's realistically going to take over just now, like right now? Let us know in the chat your thoughts, man, while we build up, man. While we build up the chat. We're coming up to about 100 of you in here. There should be about 50 likes already. I don't even know how many likes we got, but I don't think
smash a like.
Yeah, smash a like as we get into it. The callers are going to be coming in. We've got a few waiting in the background. I'm just going to keep them waiting a little bit, like, you know what I mean? You keep them waiting, they're more hungry. You understand? When you keep them waiting, if you just let them talk, you know what I mean? Sometimes they just talk rubbish. You know what I mean? You let them build up, let them hunger and desire build up, and then we're going to bring them in. Look, we're getting the jokes in it. We're getting the jokes. Grizz, would you take Chunks at Liverpool? Reminds me of a prime Gerrard, man. What's this?
I did a little poll today, just having fun as you do on Twitter. I said, "What your boy Nunes or what's his name, Simon Miniminter," and Simon won by 96%. So yeah, this international break.
Yeah, it brings out the worst in you, man. Brings out the worst in a lot of people. Sleeping Dragon says, "Evening, guys, smash that like." He's right, he's right. He's not. He's serious. Smash that like button. Captain Sal says, "Sack him ASAP and get Wenger in." I mean, I don't know what's the state of Wenger these days. Is he willing? Do you think? Or
I don't know. He's part of FIFA. I don't know if there'll be some conflict of interest. Like he'd have to leave that job. He's like one of the top guys at FIFA implementing this new offside thing that he was trialing out the other day. So I don't know, but I feel like an international job is an old man's job anyway. You know,
yeah,
I mean?
100%.
It's not a young man's job. Just get Arsene Wenger's done his club career. He can do a little World Cup tournament, man, a couple of weeks. And then the best thing about Wenger is, the best thing about Wenger's is that where England for me are very talented in terms of the attacking players, he will definitely let them play with freedom. That's his first thing. So that's the reason to get a player like a manager like Wenger in. They'd like to be in a James Maddison. He might actually get a look in if Wenger actually got the job. But obviously, we're talking pipe dreams here. Southgate is gonna continue on. England get knocked out probably if they even get out of the group. Honestly, this group, USA, Iran, and Wales. Don't be surprised if these guys don't get out of it.
Easy. It's not going to be easy. Samuel says, Grizz Khan, sacking Gareth Southgate before the World Cup makes sense and bringing Graham Potter. Who's going to tell him?
Potter a long time.
Come on, bro.
Impossible.
You need to get on the. You need to get with the news, man. Graham Potter's taken over Chelsea, bro. Come on.
You're leaving Chelsea to go England for a few
family
weeks,
man, community man, big up the dog himself. Ryan, big up yourself, man. Thank you very much. He's affiliated with the FIFA, so I don't even know. People are saying too cool. What do you think of that one? Nah, he's too young to be a national manager.
Listen, you know what it is? I was reading something about Tuchel in terms, Brexit and his passport situation and visas. Apparently he's got like 90 days left on it. He gets a little England job, extend that. You know what I mean? Maybe, but I don't know. I don't think Tuchel will take that job because at this point, as I said, it's not when you're in your kind of prime, like a Tuchel, to go to international management. I don't know. He could wait to get a Juventus job. Something else probably come up as well. So I don't know.
It was true, man. Who was going to tell that brother, man? Like Grandpa shout, man. Come on, man. I don't want to be rude straight away. Not rude, but we seem to be taking a piss. Yeah, but I agree with Jay Conbos. He says, think it's too late to get sacked before the World Cup, but he should definitely be gone after this World Cup. And obviously, if he wins it or goes to the final, then you reconsider that option. But anything less, I'm not even sure if semi-final saves his job.
Nah, it's the way of it's the way England play. There's no hope. The way they play doesn't fill you with confidence. You're meant to be going into a tournament right now thinking, England looking good. They could actually do something against the big boys like Brazil. Look at the way Brazil are playing. You think Brazilians right now are sitting there, we can't do anything in the World Cup. They're probably thinking, you know what? We can win this World Cup. And that's all based on the way they're playing. England fill you with no hope. And I think that's the main reason I would sack Southgate if I had the chance. It's because I would want to instill a bit of hope and positive reactions and feelings, in the players, in the fans, and we see it. We see it with club sides when they sack managers. They get that little manager bounce.
Little
Why
boost,
can't that
man.
happen in international football? Why not?
It would depend on who you get, man. Like, why always me sends in the first super chat of the night. Big up yourself, my brother. He goes, Grizz, I'm from Croatia. We sacked our coach just before the World Cup and we got to the final. But by the way, our midfield was Kova, Brozovic, and Modric. Come on.
Yeah.
That helps as well. When you got people like Brozovic, one of the most underrated DMs, how many people have we got on Eurostars that speak so highly of him? Mo, the Inter fan, tells us on a weekly basis he's good as anyone in world football in his position. Kovacic is my favorite player at Chelsea. Well, after Kante. After Kante. Kante's the king. But Kovacic, what a marvelous player. And then you got Modric. Hall of Famer, innit? Luka Modric. So it helps when you got three man like that. But he's right, and you're right, I guess, as well. Like, there is such a thing as a new positive bounce, but I think it's more strategic when it comes to World Cup. If you've got a new team and you've been playing a certain way for all this, because Gareth Southgate's been there a little while now, right? How many years has
He's
he
been there since 2018 World Cup. He was there.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, another World Cup. We're going to waste another. In my opinion, it's like Southgate going into the World Cup.
Yeah, but why didn't you do it before, Mo? Yeah, but why you didn't do it before? Why didn't you? I'll tell you why you didn't do it before. Because you reached the final of the World Cup. Sorry, Euros.
Euros, yeah.
And semi-finals of the World Cup, I believe.
Yeah, semi-final. Yeah, lost to Croatia.
So the record, you have to go by that and say, okay, he's done enough to keep him in the job. But as you said, the progression since and the style of football is dire. It's ridiculous. It's really, really dire. But yeah, Argentina, I can't see past these two, man, for the World Cup. I really can't. No, France. I would not rule out France.
Argentina, I'm still not 100% convinced, even though Messi's looking great and Lisandro Martinez, I'm seeing him doing a few good things at the back for Argentina now. But I can't really look past Brazil. France, you know the thing with France, right? They're very good, of course. They're stacked in every position. But I don't know. There's just something about Didier Deschamps and the way he's got them playing sometimes that I just don't like. But he did win the World Cup in 2018, so you can't look past them still. So Brazil and France probably the two favorites in my opinion. Spain as well. Don't sleep on Spain.
You reckon? I know you love all that midfield, and everyone does, the Pedris and the Gavis and all that business. But I still don't see a 30 goal scorer. I just don't see it.
Yeah. In terms of maybe a final, it might be a stretch, but a little quarters or semis could be possible, I think.
What do you think about this show?
No.
They're coming up, man. They're coming up.
I don't see it, man. You never know, but even at their best, even at their peak, man, Holland are the perennial, second place guys. They're never gonna win. But
my guy VVD captaining them, I ain't rooting shit out, bro. My guy VVD, come on, man, saving himself for Holland. Man's taking it easy for Liverpool and saving himself for Holland. Tongue in cheek people, before you come for me. But I think we've waffled enough for 20 minutes. Let's bring in our first caller. We promised to waffle for about 20 minutes, and I think we've done a good job. Let's bring in the first caller. Who are we going to bring in? We're going to bring in Zuberi. Zuberi, hope you're ready for us. Let's go. Yes, my guy Zuberi.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, Bilal, good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you.
Always good to see you, my bro. Yeah, man was partying next week. I can't remember, in London or something, doing something mad. But we had him covered. Zuberi kept me good company, I must admit, as always.
Yeah, I would have stayed the whole time if you wanted to. I was filling out my application, Grizz, for the co-host because I didn't know if Bilal was doing the new Arsenal hype thing. You know what I'm saying? These mans are partying now, Grizz. Arsenal fans, they partying.
Oh yeah, Listen, it's like when you when you actually win that lottery or you win something, you don't know what to do. You literally don't know what to do next. You ain't ever been in that position. So you just
right.
And you say some mad things, right? That later you might regret. So you might say things like to your best friend, yo, yeah, man, I'm gonna buy you a house. I'm gonna buy you a car. I'm gonna buy you a shop. I'm gonna buy you a business. I'm gonna buy you a flat. And then you shit, why the fuck did I say that? That's what these Arsenal fans are like. They don't know what they're saying at the moment. Yeah, we got the best centre back in the world. We got the best midfielder. Shut up and relax. Relax.
Hey, nah, Grizz, you might not like my take today then, because my take today is I think it might come down to City and Arsenal, man. And before people come for me, no one is propping me up. I'm not pushing any agenda for no one.
No,
This is just what I would personally like to see. This is what I personally like to see.
Before you continue, no one can come for you on this show, especially me. I ain't got no right to come for you. This is your agenda. This is your opinion. I'm here to listen. And if you want an opinion from me, I'll give it. If you want an opinion from Bilal, he'll give it. Otherwise, this is about you. Take the floor.
I'm gonna make it about me and Bilal today, man.
That's right. That's right.
My agenda, Bilal, is student versus the master. And here why. I'm set up the whole plot for TV too. When Arteta left Pep as the number 2, usually the number 2 walks away, you can see a little chink in the arm. You're like, ooh, they lost something there. This is our moment. You can run in. I didn't see City really lose anything besides Aguero and a couple players. They just continue doing what City's been doing. And then Arteta went over to Arsenal, and people's like, I don't know, he got something about him. It hasn't clicked yet. And the minute he got Ozil and Aubameyang out of there, something clicked. Whether it's going to be a long-term click, Grizz, or not, something clicked. You know what I'm saying? I think come at the end of the season, City might have 89 plus goal difference, but lose out to Arsenal on a point. As long as they can keep doing what they're doing. Like, you look at the goal difference, you're like, how can they score that many goals and lose? I think it could come down to City and Arsenal, man. I think Arsenal might nick them 1 point. And it's not going to be because Arsenal were great. It's because they've got a guy who learned from the great. Student versus the master kind of thing. So that's the agenda. That's how I like to see the league play out. Because I'm going to be honest, Liverpool haven't given me much hope since I didn't even have hope during the Community Shield. I'm still yet to see something about Liverpool I can hang my hat on and be like, yeah, we're going to be number 2, or yeah, we're going to break down Arsenal, or we're going to be in and amongst it. So for right now, all I have to go off of is this great guy Pep doing great things as usual. And now is number 2 is doing some great things. It might just be a season about them two. So that's what I think. It's not what I hope to happen. I'm a Liverpool fan at the end. I don't want to see that. I don't want to be out of the top 4, but we're playing like top 6 right now. So, I think it's a good story, man, for football fans all over the world. Student versus the master kind of thing. Arteta versus Pep. And can the student top the master, So if anyone knocking Pep off his high horse, it could be Arteta, man.
You know what? That's some narrative Zuberi's got going there, bro. Bilal. It's about you. He's right. I'm sitting this one out.
It's like a movie. It's like a movie, man.
It is, man.
Arteta was there training up, Then one day he comes back and then knocks out his master or something like that. You never know. But the way I'm looking at the table, like for me, Liverpool, it's always been a case of you guys getting your players back. I think we saw against Ajax enough signs already that Liverpool, when they get their players back and get the intensity back, I think Liverpool already. I think top 4 is certain for Liverpool. The thing was, I saw people saying that Man United might finish above Liverpool, Chelsea. That I don't think that's going to happen. I think Liverpool too good for that, and that's why I trust in Liverpool to come back and go on a mad run as well. So with Klopp as well, I think you just have to respect everything Liverpool have done over the past 6 years. It's too long for it all to just die in one season, in my opinion. So I think Liverpool will be fine in terms of at least securing Champions League football for another season. Arsenal, on the other hand, it's all about the squad. It's all about how you can manage injuries. And if Arsenal's first 11 is fit every single week, 100% there, they can compete with, I think, every team in the league, go head-to-head, even Man City, But it comes to the point with the injuries. Right now, you look at Arsenal's situation with Thomas Partey, pulled up a bit of a knock for Ghana yesterday. Now, apparently today, he's flying back to London, and he's not going to actually be playing with Ghana for the rest of the international break. Tomiyasu, another key player for Arsenal, same thing, was with Japan. Now he's being flown back to London. He's going to have to stay with the Arsenal team and try and recover. I think Arsenal have been lucky in the sense that the Brazilian boys have managed to get a rest, and they've not been sent to go play in God knows where for Brazil. And even Saka's the only guy really going. Saliba, yes, but apart from that, there's not too many players that have actually had to travel this international break, and I think that's key because this October, I think it's 9 games for Arsenal. Might be 8 now because I think the Man City game got postponed because of the PSV stuff and the Queen's funeral, etc. So I think the fixture list, if Arsenal can get past this month, pretty much, it could put them in good shape after the World Cup, a January transfer window. Maybe for me, if Arsenal don't sign a DM in the January transfer window to try and replace Partey, then I don't know. For me, I haven't got much hope in Arsenal even pushing Man City until March even. You know what I mean? And with Man City, it's really hard to look past them just because of Erling Haaland. That guy there is, even if they don't play well, we saw what they did against Borussia Dortmund. Just lump the ball into the box. The guy's going to do some mad fly kick and it's going to go into the back of the net. But yeah, I think Arsenal this season, the aim still win a trophy, finish in the top 4 comfortably, and that's still a good season of progress. And then next season, build from that platform, because last season missing out on the top 4 and then jump into winning the Premier League is probably unrealistic. But just if you can secure a little trophy here and there, secure yourself in the top 4 firmly, because that's the number 1 priority, then I think still it's a successful season. Right now, Arsenal probably surpassing everyone's expectations before the season. I didn't think Arsenal, to be honest, I looked at the fixture list, you'd still fancy Arsenal to win most of the games that we did win, but still, Crystal Palace away, first game, I'm thinking, maybe a draw there, Selhurst Park, Brentford away, you're thinking that's a tough physical game. So far, Arsenal are passing every single test, apart from United away, and they're playing good football, but it's so early in the season. I've seen, personally, I'll give you my experience as an Arsenal fan. I've seen so many Arsenal teams top of the league in January and die come March and end up not winning nothing. So I've seen that countless seasons. So for me, I'm not getting carried away right now, but I think we're going to have a good season at the very least.
Can I interject in this interesting conversation and debate with you two, man? Please, with your permissions, because obviously I don't want to get involved in this stinky agenda too much. But Zuberi, so listening to Bilal when he says about, I've seen Arsenal at this stage many a time, and then we always just whimper away. What's different that you sense about this squad, about this manager, that's inspiring you to come on a call-in show and say you think they can topple? Forget Liverpool, forget Chelsea, forget Liverpool, forget Spurs and all these teams. Because according to you, it's whether they can top Pep is the one, because Pep is the top dog, the top team. You really think they can challenge? What's different? What have you seen?
Great question. Great question. You went right to the meat and gravy with this one. So a lot of Liverpool fans already know this. Bilal, if you don't, write this down, because this will be key when you're rallying up the non-believers in Arteta. All right? We all say Klopp is a great manager, but he lacks ruthlessness. And when Arteta came in, Arteta knew there was a lot of garbage in Arsenal he had to throw in a dumpster. But a lot of people, because of sentimental reasons and old YouTube reels, they're holding on to these garbage. And I'm not saying garbage to be utterly disrespectful to like your Ozils and your Aubameyang, but their output wasn't matching up their wage. Like what they're putting on the pitch wasn't a reflection of what they're getting paid. Like, you're getting paid to do a job, you need to be doing that job. You're getting paid to elevate, and you're not elevating the team. And Arteta came in and had to make the tough call. Like, yo, this is one of the big boys. This is one of the guy that brings the crowd in, but he's not performing. What am I gonna do with him? It's like having Ronaldo in your team right now and say, yo, you holding bench. If I need you, I'll put you on. Because if I don't, I'm not just gonna throw you out there and you can't press. You're actually hindering the team. We don't need passengers. We need people fighting for the shirt. We don't want you showing up whenever you want to because you guaranteed the shirt. You're doing the trend thing. I'm not even going to track back because I'm going to just wait for the ball to come to me. Then I can do a mad switch. So, to be fair, when Ozil got pushed out the team, when Aubameyang got pushed out, I'm a non-Arsenal fan. And I can see very clearly why they're getting pushed out. So to have a manager just coming, I'm like, oh, you're Aubameyang. Yeah, you're from Dortmund. We see what you do. We know what you can do. We'll just keep you in the team for keeping you in the team's sake. it's not really helping the team. So you guys really needed a manager to come in and be like, yo, I'm not putting up with none of this BS. And to me, that's what Pep is about. He went to City, looked at Joe Hart, and like, all right, I hear you the man. You're gonna have to prove it. Oh, you can't prove it? You out of here. So you need managers to do things like that. And that's not a Klopp. And that's why, for me personally, as a Liverpool fan, that's why we're never even going to be up there or stay up there. Because Klopp doesn't do that. He's doing the whole, well, if you don't want to leave, we're not going to force you. You still got 3 years. We'll try to fit you in. As long as you're okay with that. And that's why Divock Origi was around so long. Like, another manager be like, yo, bro, it's pointless. I'm not just going to bring you on for Everton for sentimental reasons and then put you back in the closet. So you need a manager that can come in and make those heavy decisions. And when Arteta made those, a lot of Arsenal fans was upset. Like, the hell he's doing, man? That's Aubameyang. How could you do that? And then once the team clicked, everyone was like, nah, man, he's doing something here. They're not quite sure what it is, but that's what Arsenal needed. They needed that. So to me, that is the biggest difference. I know Bilal is frustrating, playing sexy football, sitting on top to just crumble away to 6. It's frustrating, but yo, I promise you, Arteta is looking like the guy that can do what Klopp did. When Klopp came to Liverpool, a lot of us didn't believe we can challenge. And its famous speech was, I'm going to turn doubters into believers. And a lot of people believe in Klopp right now. A lot of people believe that, it's because he's missing resources and tools. They believe so much in Klopp right now. People are talking about he deserved to have a throwaway season. Why would we even want a throwaway season? If it's not working, it's just not working. But for Arteta, Grizz, I think he's the difference. I think what he learned on the Pep, I think he has the right amount of challenges on his CV to sit there, didn't write a book, taking a lot of notes, learn from a good team, sees what a good team looks like, and is just trying to build a good team. So
I'm a fan of Arteta. People know this. People know. People call me his lawyer. I'm the Arteta lawyer. So you're preaching to the already preached. But even your sermon, to me, is a bit wild. Because as I said, I'm a fan of Arteta. I love the work he's done. And Bilal's heard me and seen me on other platforms. Big up Arteta when no one was. I'm not talking about now. When everyone's seeing it, and it's easier to jump on the hype train now. Arteta this, Arteta that. I've been saying, relax, Arteta. I see something in him a year and a half ago. And the process hasn't gotten thus far. But it's thus far. It's 7 games into the season. They still didn't reach top 4. They didn't get over the thing. I agree with all of that. I don't agree with the title talk right now, and I'll let Bilal take over. But the only reason I'm biting in is when you taking strays at Klopp as a result of it. It draws me out in it, Bilal. Like you're laughing and it's funny to you, innit? And like he's laughing now, innit? Look, he's laughing now. He's laughing now because he knows I'm serious now. He knows I'm serious. He knows he's got me serious now, innit? And he knows when I'm serious, I go for the jugular. So we're cutting out the niceties now, innit? So we're getting down to business, and then I'm gonna let you lot have your Arteta for the City title talk, right? But when my guy's catching strays like Jurgen Klopp, it's out of this world. I don't see the logic behind it. Because this guy took over Klopp, took over Liverpool when they were like Arsenal were 2 seasons ago. We're 8th. You guys were 8th, Bilal?
Yeah, COVID time didn't finished. Actually, Arsenal finished 8th, won the FA Cup, so got Europa. Then next year finished 8th again. So yeah,
8th.
2 years in a row.
So he took over a squad 8th. Yeah? Jurgen Klopp I'm talking about. While he's been here, he's from that position. Whether you personally, I'm talking about myself first, and then I talk about anyone else. Whether I personally like the way he operates, whether it's weak mentality, whether it's too loyal, whether it's, I don't know, whatever the the way he does things, right?
Mm-hmm.
In those seasons, if you take away the murder season that we had, where we had a whole half our squad out, and that's not exaggerating, that's fact. He's reached 3 Champions League finals and reached 90 plus points 3 times. 6 seasons, he's achieved what 95% of clubs in the history of the Premier League haven't achieved. And then he's catching strays just because one team managed by the greatest coach possibly of all time, funded by the richest country in the world, has finished above him, pipped him. Not in the Champions League, in the Premier League. Just because one team has pipped him over, we're suddenly saying, Arteta, yeah, he's the one. And we're forgetting about the job that this man has done. I'm personally not having it. I'm personally, no problem. You can have your own opinions or whatever. I'm personally saying, those 6 seasons, my God, like, what more do you want this man to do? Do you think just because he's kept Henderson, we ain't won one more fucking title? Makes zero sense to think like that. There's no logical evidence. That's just because you don't like Henderson, or you don't like me, or you don't like the way he's operated that aspect. You love everything else about him. The way he built up this club in 6 years, you love that shit. But the moment you don't like it, you want to bring all that house, all that foundation down because you don't like something right at the end. To me, just me, it don't make sense.
Yeah, listen, I'll say something on that Klopp point, because for me, what Klopp has done at Liverpool, for me, is a bit of a miracle. I'm not even going to lie. Because what Liverpool, for me as well, watching Liverpool over the years, they've been a team where they've had very good players. They can put Champions League runs together. And they can have that odd season where they're really challenging for the Premier League, but they'll have other seasons where they're not even there, a lot of the time. But when Klopp's come in, all of a sudden the consistency of Liverpool has changed in the league, in the Champions League, in the big games. Liverpool, every single game with the intensity that you guys played at, I've never seen a team play with that sort of intensity so consistently in my life. And that's not capping because you guys are Liverpool fans. This is something I've noticed.
Hold on. So go and finish 8th, go and finish 6th, go and finish 4th, go and finish 3rd. Then you're gonna realize what Shanks meant by that. You haven't got a clue what he meant by that. I hate when people talk when they have got no actual knowledge and history of what the guy meant and where he brought us from. Who wants to finish 2nd? Do you want to finish 2nd, Bilal, in life? Do you think I want to finish 2nd in life? Do you think these people, do you think Jurgen Klopp wants to finish 2nd in life?
Mm-hmm.
These people that say, second is nothing. Of course, you don't get a prize for it. Am I thick? Nobody gets a prize for finishing 2nd. Who wants to finish 2nd? Sometimes just face the reality. Man City is better. End of story. But to say Man City is better and we're dog shit, it makes zero sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. If Man City is one of the all-time great Premier League, and we will look back at Man City being one of the best clubs in the history of the Premier League, does that mean Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool were dog shit? Because of he was whatever. Sorry, I digress.
Yeah, no, listen. At the end of the day, I think you guys should give yourself credit as a club that you've been in like 2 Champions League finals the last 3 years. You've won
4 European finals in 5 years. 1 European
3 Champions League, 1
3
Europa.
Champions League final.
Exactly. So in terms of the overall package, you could even argue Klopp, in a lot of senses, has done a lot more for the way he's taken Liverpool from A to B is a lot greater than anything Pep has done.
And you just said Pep, you just said Arteta. It may be too much. From 8th to the summit of not only the Premier League but Europe. And when you reach the top, only one team can win it. It's fine margins. But we're eating at the big table now. Zuberi might not believe it. You might not believe it. I might not believe it. No problem. But the facts are we are. We are the top 3 clubs in Europe. I want to be number 1. You want to be number 1. Everybody wants to be number 1. We all want to be number 1. But there can only be number one, right?
Exactly. But I think the frustration from Zuberi and other Liverpool fans comes from is similar now. That's why, guys, when you bring up Wenger and Klopp, there is a lot of similarities in sense that I remember, for example.
I get it.
Okay, Wenger had the excuse when moving into the Emirates that Arsenal had no money. They were in debt. It's similar to what you guys kind of say with FSG, not in terms of you don't have money, but they don't want to spend it. So let's say the finances are tight for both teams. Yeah,
I think they run differently. The finances, like what Arsenal, they were there.
Yeah,
Just like FSG we're rich clubs. Arsenal are a rich club. You can tell. Liverpool are a rich club. But that's a different argument.
Yo, I'm here, so I'm gonna tell you guys what my thing is and where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
So I don't get like lumped in with like recency bias or people that's riding my bandwagon because I started this club thing. Look, I'm a Liverpool fan, man, through and through. And when we signed Klopp, I think I was in the desert. I forgot which desert I was at, maybe in Dubai or something. I wasn't impressed with this guy. I've never been like a big Klopp fan. You know when I became a Klopp fan? When he said I'm gonna turn doubters into believers. And even then I was like, I don't know, because I see you playing Lallana in some position. I ain't even rate Lallana. Like I thought you was gonna come in and kick Lallana to the curb. And I'm the type of guy, I'll watch us dominate a game. It could be 6-0. It could be a crazy game where the scoreline is mad. I'm mad. I'm like, yo, why the hell did you leave that player on for that long? You should have been taken off. So I'm very, I critique Klopp a lot. It doesn't matter if we won. We won the Community Shield, Grizz. Everyone was buzzing like, uh-oh, we're looking good. I was the only one coming in like, yo, I'm not impressed. And you're like, wait, dude, we just won 3-1. So that's who I am. So this Klopp thing isn't new. It isn't after the trophy. I'm like hating on him. I was never a Klopp fan.
So you're kind of admitting you're a Klopp hater.
No. Well.
I tell you why. Okay, not hater, but you're not.
No. Because and that's why I'm trying to put some perspective on it. I'm not hating the guy. I just never rated him from day one.
There you go. So once you say from the start that you wasn't a fan from the start, it's human nature. I'm the same. I'm sure Bilal was there. Everyone's the same. If you don't like someone from the offset, what you do is dig for every possible negative. So even last season, on the back of last season, you're saying, I don't give a shit about last season. After game week 7, we're struggling. I want Klopp gone. Because you've got that bias already. It's inbuilt because from the start you've said you wasn't his fan. So even though he's done this and you've said he doubters to believers, he never turned you into a believer. Then really, did he, Zuberi? Did he really turn you into a temporary believer?
No, Grizz, you're taking it out of context. I'm gonna try to rephrase it. Yeah, because you're taking it out of context. I'm not saying I hate the guy, because hate is a strong word, man.
I tried to slide that in. Yeah.
And to your point, that's how you're spinning up the narrative. Because once you say you hate him, man, no matter what he does, you're gonna find something to nitpick. I've never nitpicked at him. Everything I've said was consistent from day one.
Even when he won us the league title, even when he won us the Champions League, because obviously me and you didn't speak then, so I'm gonna have to trust you like a man to man,
right? Because we haven't. And tell me what you think. I would love for you to see me on a watch along, right? Because when he makes certain subs, I'm like, yo, thank you for making that sub. It's 5 minutes too late. Yo, we need this guy to come on. So I'm always critiquing him, not like a hating point, but just I've seen these flaws from day one. I'm like, yo, why you bringing this guy on? He's not going to affect the game in the right way. So even though we won 2-1, I'm like, yo, if you had brought him on sooner. So it's not about him as a person. It's the way he run his game. It's the way he relies on certain player. I'm like, yo, why is Milner coming on in this moment? Yo, this is a good moment to bred in this young guy, or this is a moment for this guy. So it's not about, oh, I'm just hating Klopp. I want Klopp out. I've never said I want Klopp out. I'm talking about the level that I'm looking at the game. I'm like, nah, man, you know what? That guy, yo, this is a Jones moment. This is your moment for Jones. We're winning 6-3. Why are you bringing on Milner? You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at Klopp. Now, when we're falling down and everyone is seeing like, yo, we're really sure we're liking certain things, and Klopp says things like, yo, Origi's a great striker. Hopefully a better manager used him better than I've used him. It's like, yeah, bro, you're not really using the guy. You know, we signed Minamino. How the guy gets golden boot in 2 competition, maybe 1, and come close in the second. He doesn't even play in the final. Like, yo, that was your moment to give the guy even off the bench appearance. So when I'm looking at things, I'm like, yo, Klopp, like, I believe in you. I believe in what you're doing. But, yo, at some point, you're blowing shit up our asses, man. You're talking about you're here for the player, and you got Minamino. You can't even put the guy on in the final for 30 minutes. What message are you sending to the players? So I'm not coming at him just to come at him. I'm talking about from a manager point, You're selling me all about the player. You get a player like Minamino. He get golden boot in a competition, and you can't even bring man on in the final. So are you backing the player? You saying he's not good enough? So I don't. He's left a lot to be desired. And I came out on the scene now that we have these platforms, and I said, nah, man, you know what? He might not be the guy for us to hold us at that top level because he doesn't have that ruthlessness. And then a lot of people are starting to see what I've always seen. Like, you know what, man? He does lag on his substitution. Oh, man, his subs, it's tasteless. Look at that Everton game. No fan can explain those subs and why they needed to be made. Everyone is left confused by those. And it's just the things I've seen ever since he came in. I'm like, you know, man, we should have kept certain players. Why didn't he go hard for that player? So there's a lot we need some answers on, Grizz, as far as the backroom stuff.
So just very quickly, just up to that point. So basically, tell me otherwise. Basically, you don't rate the work he's done in the 7 years he's been here.
He's outdone himself. He's outdone himself. He's outdone himself.
So which suggests to me that he's fluked it, really. You're saying
to say fluked it would be to overlook our injuries. To be honest, it will be to overlook our injuries because we have some. Hold
on. It's my time now.
Okay.
To ask you questions. Just questions.
Okay. And I'll give you answers, but to say fluked it, it's
okay.
No, I'll say he's outperformed himself.
Okay, because you've just spoken about him now. I think I spoke to you last season where you was hyped for the season we're having. I'm not sure what stage I spoke to you, but when we were going for the quad and we were winning every game under the sun and we were like a machine and feared throughout Europe. I don't remember these kind of conversations with you. So I'm guessing it's based on these 7 seasons and the time at the start. Because you didn't rate him at the start and you don't rate him now. But in the middle, you're saying he overachieved. Is that what you're saying then? Because you didn't rate him at the start and you didn't rate him now, but in the middle, you're saying he overachieved. What does that mean then? I don't know. Because to me, that sounds you didn't rate him.
There was a Milner substitution where Milner was unhappy with that.
If you're going to give me isolated incidents, I'm going to give you
not isolated incidents.
I'll tell you why. No. If you're going to give me 1 substitution here and 2 substitutions there, I'm going to give you hundreds of substitutions that did work. It's going to imbalance your argument.
Let me land. Okay. I see what you're doing. Let me land, and it's going to make sense. I promise you. Okay. There was 2 substitutions. There was a Thiago one and there was a Milner one where both players were unhappy. And then right after they got subbed, we scored and both players ran and hugged Klopp. They both came off the field unhappy with the sub. And those 2 subs, I was actually a fan of those subs. Like, thank God you got them off the field. And the players were upset. And in that moment, we scored. When they come off the field, the pattern of play changed and we scored. And both players ran and hugged Klopp. Like, you know what? Sorry, I was upset for coming off. It didn't feel right to me. The point I'm trying to use those 2 subs to show you, Grizz, there is always going to be moments we can nitpick and be like, yo, in that moment, I wasn't a fan. In this moment, I wasn't a fan. I'm saying I've never really bought into Klopp before the speech. When he gave the speech, I bought into him. But after the speech, it's like, I don't understand. You made us believers, but then you're now turning us into doubters against the owners. So it's kind of like, it's a give and take thing.
And what I want to make clear, to the people in the chat, like the stream, because this is a real debate. This ain't fake. We ain't here acting. This is real. So for our realness, like the stream, I'm going to go and grab some water while you used to carry on. So look, first and foremost, I want to make clear. If you don't rate him, it's fine. Just say it though. You seem to be just skirting around it and saying, yeah, but if you don't rate him, no problem. Many don't rate him. Millions don't rate him around the world. Just say it with your chest. I don't rate Jurgen Klopp. Because there's none of your other arguments are making sense to me. Really.
Nah, you used the right word, rate, before you said hate. I'll tell you.
I was naughty with a hate.
Yeah.
I was naughty.
So when you say rate, yeah, I'll tell you straight up. I don't rate him. I don't think he's top 3.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't think he's top 3.
That's no problem with that. I can't listen.
When you say hate, though, you made me sound like a villain, man. I was like,
I know. One has to be a villain. One of us has to be
Yeah.
villain.
You know, I'll be the villain today. But no, I never rated him that highly. A lot of Liverpool fans will put him over Pep, and I can't put him over Pep.
No problem. I'm gonna grab some water. Bilal, take over. You
Yeah,
guys stay here. I'm gonna add Jezza to the stream if you don't mind, Zuberi.
Yeah, no,
Jezza's-
go ahead. I just want to hear what Bilal has to say from my
Yeah.
take, and if he can tie that to Arteta, because
100%.
Arteta might have the same effect.
The next few minutes are all Bilal's. I'm going on mute. Let me just welcome Jezza. You welcome to the stream, my friend. You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. Can you hear me?
Good. Yeah.
Hey,
You're
big
part of the
up,
stream now.
Jezza,
You can.
Big up, Zuby. Yo, you stressed, man.
So we're gonna. I'm just gonna get some water. Bilal's gonna come back, and then if Zuberi wants to come back and Jezza wants to add something, feel free, because we're gonna have some real talk today. Let me grab some water because this is gonna pop off, people. People like the stream. This is about to pop off.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's very opening my mind, you know, in terms of Klopp and the way you look at him. And I don't know if it's because of your experience, because, okay, for me as an Arsenal fan, for most part, I had Arsene Wenger. You know, I had one guy there. I wasn't used to ever changing managers. I only had one guy who was synonymous and together with the club the whole time. But as you as a Liverpool fan, you've seen Hodgson, you've seen Benitez, you've seen Julia. I don't know how many other managers maybe you've seen apart from that. So
Kenny was in there. Rodgers. I never rated none of these managers, man.
Yeah.
So when Klopp came in, it's the same thing. I never really rated him. I'm like, So, but like I said, he overachieved, and I'll always give him his flowers for achieving what he did. You know what I mean? But there was a lot of moments in there where I'm like, I don't know about this one, you know, Klopp. So that's just kind of where I'm at. I'm not like out there on a limb or I'm coming for the guy. It's like, bro, the few mistakes you made every season you achieved, they're getting more and more. For example, the January when we never got a center back in until the very last day, I don't think that was an owner thing, because everything was good till Matip got injured. Then they scrambled. It's the same thing this summer. We had all summer to get a midfielder, and all of a sudden Henderson pick up an op and is like, oh man, you know, we're not really good. That's not an ownership thing.
Yeah, I find that interesting because, like,
I just very quickly, Kall, you got super chat related to it. Sorry. Then you carry on. LFC 796 says, just to let everyone know, on moping, Zuberi has always backed FSG over everyone else. From time, he'll blame everyone else but them. His opinion, though. If you want to reply to that, Zuberi.
As it pertains to this, I do understand from a sportsman perspective, going to the pub, going out, putting on your kit. You've seen another guy in his team kit, and y'all talk and y'all have a little banter, and that's fun and that's fine. But when you're coming for the head of the organization, the owner of the ship, you can't go for the owner of the ship. You're telling me the ship is more important than the owner that is running that infrastructure, who's cutting the wages, who's writing those checks, who's making Klopp happy enough to sign again. So to me, it's like, look, the guys, they hire a manager to manage the team. If he's out managing and doing all this great stuff, and they say, yo, what do you need? And he say, I'm good. They're not going to overstep on his territory, because his territory is to manage the team. If he says, I cannot work with a guy like, I mean, he's never said this, but I'm only speculating. If he says, I can't work with these, you know, big superstar guys with their own Instagram following of millions of people and these big contracts and sponsorship, because, you know, they might topple the dressing room. I'm not saying that's what Klopp is saying, but to just jump over the manager. When you go to McDonald's, you're not going to McDonald's and talking about the owner. You're like, yo, let me talk to the manager. If the manager isn't managing that store, then you'll write the franchise and be like, yo, this manager is running the store crazy. He's not paying. So it always goes to the manager. You take your problems to the manager. So if you
I want to ask, I'm going to just jump in there. So what is your main gripe with Klopp? Is it the transfers, in terms of you think maybe he has too much power and he's too stubborn in terms of trying to change the squad? Or is it tactically? Do you think tactically maybe he's not at the level? Because when you say he's not top three, it means either on the pitch tactically, in terms of in-game management, in terms of the training, in terms of everything he does with the Liverpool team, that's what you don't actually rate about him? Or is it literally just a thing where it's just a transfers for you that's the problem in terms of
Look,
it's January?
a lot of fans,
it?
when we was getting Klopp, they won't admit this, and I'm a real one. A lot of them wanted Ancelotti, and when Ancelotti went to Everton and said, "Oh, playing against Liverpool is easy. They're easy to set up against." That's worrying for me as a fan, because it's like, wait, so you're telling me my man doesn't have the Sir Alex Ferguson ruthlessness, where he'll just come out and gaslight the other team to think he's gonna set up one way and come up with a whole new setup per game. Every game is just the same setup, so there's not a lot of inventive ways to go about our style of play. Our style of play is pretty straightforward for the past 7 years. Grizz can attest to this. It's successful, but even now, Klopp is saying, "Yo, we need to reinvent ourselves." Is it because of the lack of transfer we need to reinvent, or the style is just getting old? The players in the style is getting old. As a manager, you should see that before the fans. So, like I said, people are going to make this sound like, oh, he's just hating on Klopp. If the guy does great thing, I'll give him his flowers. If he's doing bad thing, I'm saying, yo, he's doing bad thing. I'm not saying he's doing something bad right now. The whole point of my conversation was I'm seeing the same elements as the Klopp rise at Liverpool as Arteta, just on a different level. Arteta had to capture the dressing room first by getting rid of some bad eggs. I'm pretty sure Klopp thought there was a few bad eggs in there. Example, Saka, maybe a couple others that he kind of just froze out and like, yo, what the hell happened with that guy? But Klopp isn't the guy to just put that all out there.
Yeah,
so that's why I said it's not really about hating on Klopp. I did take some shots at him. I always take shots at him. Grizz knows this.
No, and I'm there, and you know me, I'm Klopp's human shield.
Oh, so you caught the bullets. My bad. If I had known that, I would have shoot some blanks. But the thing is, iron sharpen iron. I don't want Klopp sitting in the seat thinking he's good and he got a throwaway season. I do not want to give Klopp a throwaway season. Has he earned a throwaway season?
Okay. First and foremost, let's get to this debate. Who is giving him a throwaway season?
I'm not gonna name drop, but I've talked to a few people on a few different streams, and even in the chats when I'm on certain channel, and everyone is saying, "Nah, man, he got it. He has a throwaway season," and I'm like, "Why are we settling for a throwaway season?" I'm not saying this season is. No, Grizz. I'm telling you, I'll be in some of the chats, and I'm like, "Yo, if we're here." And this is all hypothetical. Like, yo, if we lose 7 on the bounce and come after the World Cup, we're sitting, between 7th and 10th. I'm like, yo, Klopp should go. And a lot of people was like, nah, man, he's earned a throwaway season. And I'm like, I will not accept.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I will not accept a throwaway season. But everyone in those chats are like, nah, man, if we come in 8th, it's calm. It's his first one out of top 4. And I'm like, dude, no. So that is not calm.
So let me give my opinion on this, and then we're gonna have a totally neutral opinion. Well, we've had Bilal can come again. Then we'll have Jazz's opinion on what he thinks of your opinion, because this will be interesting coming from a Chelsea fan whose club operates totally different in terms of hiring, firing, spending, structure, everything. So this will get deep. We're gonna get deep into this. I'm just gonna very quickly give my opinion on that notion. If we finish 8th, 100% Klopp's job will be in danger and problematic for him, because 8th is 8th. There's no throwaway season bullshit. Nah. Because even without our fucking defenders, we finished 3rd, and that was a miraculous season, and that was Jurgen Klopp. That was a masterful season, let me tell you for a fact. And apart from that, I'm not going to get involved, because it is what it is. I'm just going to very quickly say, Liverpool's 12th man says Arteta is better than Klopp is crazy, and not top 3 is even crazier. You guys take it away. I don't know how far Bilal got into his reply, and then Jezza come in.
There were some interesting points you've made about Ancelotti as well, because I remember Ancelotti years ago, when he's at Chelsea, said Arsenal is very easy to play against. All you have to do is like counter attack them. So I think he has a thing where he knows when he has a manager like Klopp or a manager like Wenger who play a particular way every single game, pretty much. I think that's the kind of games he enjoys. And even Champions League final, we saw. Listen, he's willing to give up possession and just be tight and then play with pace in the attack. So I think that's just Ancelotti. So sometimes he's a nice guy as well, from what I've heard, but still, don't think you should take that comment too much. But yeah, in terms of Klopp and everything he's done, I just see you as someone who maybe is similar to the way Arsenal fans were with Wenger. You know, in terms of, I remember the season Arsenal signed Petr Cech from Chelsea, Jezebel no, and they didn't sign anyone else. They needed a striker, didn't sign anyone else, lose the title to Leicester. But still, you know, because Wenger did great for Arsenal, he's a legend. He has that pull with the fans where people can just forgive him and look past that kind of stuff. And I think that's the same with Liverpool fans. If as long as you guys even finish in the top 4 this season, for me, I wouldn't be kicking out Klopp, because I would believe that Klopp, with everything that he's done at the club, the Premier League trophy, the Champions League, he deserves at least another season to try and push for the title again, you know? So that's just my opinion. Of course, if he finishes 8th and 7th and all of this is a disaster, okay, cool. Nobody's going to complain if he gets out of a job. But for me, it's too early, man, to be coming at Klopp like this. I don't know, but it's interesting. I'm not going to lie, it's interesting to see where you're coming from, but I feel like we should just wait a little bit longer. This season, you know why people are saying, I'd imagine, throwaway season for Liverpool and Klopp? I think they mean, in the sense, maybe, I'm speaking just in general, let's just see what happens, because Klopp has given you guys so much. He's given you guys that Premier League you wanted. He's given you guys Champions League finals. You know, he's given you the Champions League. I don't know. I just feel like a bit of patience in terms of what he's doing there. And in terms of the Arteta thing, I don't know. Arteta and Klopp, it used to annoy me so much. I'm not going to lie. Because I wasn't Arteta's biggest fan. Yeah. In the last few months of the last season and this season, I'm starting to finally see what he's doing. You know, but the beginning of Arteta's reign, I'm seeing 5 at the back football. I'm seeing negative football. I'm seeing someone who, for me, couldn't handle personalities with Guendouzi's, Aubameyangs, Ozil. I feel like he managed the situations all wrong. Even if you wanted to get rid of them, no problem. But I feel like he even tanked their values. You know, even like a Nicolas Pepe, I feel like he ruined the value of the player. Maybe Arsenal could have got more money for him. You know, he only could go out on loan this season, for example. So for me, I'm not even one of those guys like Grizz who was here defending Arteta all the time. I was at a point where I said Arteta, maybe it's too early for him to get this job, but that's a different argument. We'll probably get into that later. But yeah, Jezza, what you saying in terms of the conversation? What you feeling about Klopp and everything Zoom's been saying, man?
Very, very quickly before Jezza goes, there's not even 100 likes on the stream, which is murder, man. Come on, man, sort this business out, man. Like Jezza's calling this civil war. Like this ain't, first and foremost, there's 2 I was going to say. There's only 1 Liverpool supporter here, but I just remembered Zuberi is a Liverpool fan.
Damn, Grizz, you wrote me off like that, man.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I forgot. No, I don't know what I was hearing, man. I didn't know what I was hearing, innit? So I got confused. Like, you blame me? Like, you guys blame me?
Listen,
I don't blame me.
You got to defend your guy, because I can't lie. If someone came to me and was talking smack about Wenger, let's say 08, 09, I still wouldn't have had it.
I'm going to try not to influence too much of Bilal and Jezza's chat because they're neutrals, right? So, it's not civil war. It's civil war in just a few people's heads. Let me tell you that. It's just a few people. The millions and millions of Liverpool fans, there's no civil war. It's just a few. It's just maybe a couple of 100,000 amongst millions. I think there's civil war. Ain't no civil war, man. Trust
guys,
me.
you know about the snowball effect. You know, something starts off small and it gets bigger and bigger.
That's why I'm fighting this.
That's
why I'm fighting this battle, man. I'm out here in the trenches, man, against these people. I'm out here on a daily basis. I ain't going out like that. We're going out guns blazing.
You're gonna have to.
I'm not having this until the horse is. Anyway, Jezza, sorry. I hope you heard everything Zuberi said rather than just the last few, because otherwise it's going to be unfair on Jezza and me. I hope you heard majority of what he said from the start.
Yeah, I just tuned in when before you got Zubi on. So big up you guys. Nice to see you, Bilal. I left you a present in the private chat. Go check that out while I get my opinion across.
I've seen it already. I'll close this room.
Quick one. I mean, I hear you, Zuberi. I hear you. First of all of this chat like injected because, you know, it's been too happy-go-lucky for Liverpool for too long, you know. Growing up, like I would see all these Liverpool shirts and you're like, wow, massive fan base, but what are they doing? And then you hear about them being successful, like sort of in the 1960s, I think, the Souness era and the John Barnes era, and that's why they have the big fan base. But then where Klopp picked them up from, it was miraculous. And what he doesn't get credit for is that he came in halfway through the season, right, Grizz? Like
Yep.
December time, and it
Yep.
was a couple of games, and then you came to the bridge, and Coutinho scored that worldie with his left, and I think you might have beat us that day. And I think that's the last time we lost at the bridge. And from then you were like, whoa, this is different, because Rodgers' Liverpool, they were methodical in their build up and things like that. But obviously losing Suarez, that hurt them. But the way he galvanized everyone, and immediately you guys had that like siege mentality, I think he brought that. And then on top of it, I saw you dissing Lallana as well. I think that's where a lot of clubs get it wrong. We'll see with Liverpool, when they were like in that position, they used their heritage to draw players that were hot within the league. So not just your Manes. Lallana came in very early. He scored a crucial goal to take you to Champions League against Norwich. Obviously, there were fails like Ricky Lambert and that, but you signed a lot of Premier League proven players that actually took you up a level, and those that were able to maintain it, like Wijnaldum, stayed for longer than those that were not able to maintain it, like Lallana. But with the recruitment thing, I just want to touch on that. The hiring and sacking thing, I came to the conclusion the other day that I don't think, for instance, they say Chelsea's model, yes, the trophies definitely haven't dried up, but they've slowed down. And because other clubs, I'm not saying this is how we should move forward, but everybody's in this trendy process, all the buzzwords, you got to give your manager time. And I agree with that. But I believe you need to be successful in the short term to gain time. So Klopp got them into Champions League football relatively quickly, which bought him more time and got him more backing and things like that. However, once you won the league, what was your transfer window like when you won the league, Grizz? So the season after you won it. So you had the season where you won the Champions League, and then the next season you won the league. What was your window after? Who came in for you? What were the names? Because I don't remember.
I think it was I know after the Champions League we only brought
What year was that? I can check.
Yeah, if Bilal can, because I don't want to, but
yeah,
it wasn't great. We just
wasn't great.
He likes working with the same players. That's him.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that's the rhetoric, and then
it's not rhetoric; it's fact.
Yeah, I'm not going for Klopp yet, because I've been watching you for a long time. I'm not pressing that button.
I'm just saying.
I'm defending him. Yeah,
no, you pressed it. It's too late. You pressed it. So I'm gonna go. So if someone's won him the Champions League, he rates you, he likes you, he loves you. If you've won him the Premier League after 30 years, he likes you, he rates you, he trusts you. So he's going to keep the majority of you. That's how he operates. But now we're about to find out if he can change that modus operation. Now we're going to see it. So I get that aspect from Zuberi's argument. I do 100%.
And I also get.
But I don't get it. I just didn't get up to that.
Yeah, so like let me just land quickly. So basically how I was going to link it to the hiring and firing of managers, and then you get Liverpool's process and system. If you look at the transfer windows, I just use specifically Liverpool and Chelsea in this example. When I go back and look at, okay, we had a title winning team where we brought in Cesc Fabregas, Courtois came back, and Diego Costa and a couple of others, and then we went and we won the league, and then the summer after that was poor. And then we go and we win the Champions League. Not our most when we won the Champions League in 2012, our summer was actually quite good, but every time we won the Premier League, the window afterwards has been poor. Whereas if you see now with City, not just this window, but in previous windows as well, I think once you win, if you stay stagnant, and Sir Alex used to do the same thing, he would win a title, and then all of a sudden Berbatov would sign. And then that's a shakeup, and that's a new problem for teams to worry about. So I think it's a bit of both, the loyalty thing, but also then like he has these constraints with the business model of Liverpool. But then at the same time, he also agreed to work in those conditions, because I'm sure he'll be confident in himself as a coach in terms of if he gets a player and he has track record of it, he can take a player from level 2 to 10 within the space of a season. So I think it's the fact, I don't think it's necessarily the fact of the loyalty thing or the fact that, you know, he's too loyal to players or he wants to work with a small group. Personally, I feel with the amount of games and for somebody, that's my little gripe with him, with somebody who complains a lot in the media and things like that. I think he would love to have a lot of players, but at the end of the day, Liverpool don't have the facilities for that. It's easy to have young Harvey Elliott, young Curtis Jones, and young players on the bench because, yes, you can develop them, but these players are also not on big wages. When you look at teams that are bolstered, like let's take Man City, for example. Yes, the team is bolstered and they have a good wage structure, but their backups are on big money, like serious money. And that's only going to like increase with time. And you can see FSG are evolving because they spent 80 million on Diaz. Whether it's going to work or not, nobody knows. But the fact that they put that money forward, especially when you consider, okay, they got money for Mane, but still, like that's somebody who wasn't proven, that was hot on the market, that everybody wanted. And they went and they got him. So I believe if they want a player, they can get a player. But at the same time, I think it's that fine line that people can never read because we're not in those meetings. We're not in those meetings when Klopp says he wants a player and FSG says, oh, no, but you're right. You know, you'll make top 4. Anything after that, those are all conspiracies. So for me, I cut him a lot of slack on that. And I cut him a lot of slack that he came to Liverpool at the same time that Guardiola is at City. And again, not just the resources, but the level of player and coach that he is. That I think is unfortunate. It's like Wenger would have a lot more Premier League titles if Ferguson wasn't there. And I think this is the same kind of situation that that Klopp finds himself in. I think for Liverpool will be fine. If you finished 3rd with that other season that you had, that for me was a write-off season. I mean, Ben Davis and I don't even know Kabak's first name. He looked like the Tasmanian devil that just came in, and then I saw him in a Norwich shirt the next day, and I don't know where he is now. But I think that was a write-off season, and you came 3rd. Correct. So for me to call this a write-off season, I still think he's top 2. I just think you're probably at that stage again where, yes, you're not 8th in the league, but you're starting that process of get a player, build him up, and then whether or not he can see that out, because of the whole rumors of the 7 years thing. I didn't follow Klopp's career that closely, so I don't know. I'll just judge him now because there's no point in me looking back. I'll just judge him now while he's right in front of us. And there's no one better. That's the other thing. There's no one better. You're not going to go get him.
Sorry, there is actually a question people were asking. Ask the brother, who would you like to replace him with?
Yeah, that's a thing for me. Who would you replace him with?
Thomas Tuchel has followed Klopp in every job that he's pretty much lost. Like,
oh
I think
my
he went Mainz,
Bilal, that's one for the books. That's one for the TV books right there. So people always ask this question. I'm not like irritated by the question. It's the unknown. People cling to the unknown. No. People cling to the unknown because I can flip the question and say, who would you want to own us? And of course, you're just going to go to the guy with the most money and think because he has money, he's going to dump it in the club. There's no guarantee. No one with money is just going to be like the Russian dude, Roman Abramovich, like, oh, here's billions of dollars. There's no guarantee a guy that, you know, one of these rich guys are just going to dump their own money in. Because what you have to realize, and Grizz, here's the moment of clarity. I'm FSG Shield. Good business don't just waste money. That's not good business. So it's always in the company's best interest to get the most out of the business. They don't care if
the plot thickens.
This is a mad. You know, this actually that's such a mad. You'd assume someone who's maybe not feeling Klopp would be like FSG as well. Got to go because they're putting him in. They're the ones not backing him or listening to him too much. But you're on the
This
money
is-
thing as well. Yeah, but I don't know.
Go on. Yeah, go.
Yeah,
go.
so as far as who would replace Klopp, it would have to be a manager who is tight-lipped the way Klopp is. Because Klopp don't give nothing out about the owners. Klopp, maybe Pep Linders did in the book. I haven't got the book.
Yeah,
but what I'm
that's what
trying
I
to
was
say
gonna
is, if we got Conte in, I'm screaming Conte out the minute he opens his mouth in a press conference. Like, what? You can't be saying that. So it has to be somebody who's tight-lipped like Klopp. Takes to Liverpool culture. I've never been to Liverpool, but just watching them, I do know there's a culture there that Klopp is like king of Liverpool, and he's earned that. Would not take that from him. Should he get a statue? Absolutely. But I need a more ruthless manager with the players and with the tactics. I don't know who that is, but whoever fits the tight-lipped, ruthless with the tactics and the managing, that's who I'm backing. But it has to be tight-lipped.
I'm not letting you get away with not answering a question, because if
I
you're
did.
so certain, I
gave the qualities.
You haven't. No, if you're so certain that the qualities Jurgen Klopp has shown are not to your satisfaction, yeah, how on earth you don't know a coach that will satisfy your?
All right. To be fair,
yeah, it don't make sense.
Jose Mourinho. It'll be
Now
Jose
he's
Mourinho.
spitting. I like drawing him out. You know, like how he draws out
Mourinho to Liverpool.
There you go.
Mourinho one
let him go.
FSG.
Let him go.
Mourinho.
Let him do himself. Let him do.
No.
Continue.
Here's how Mourinho will work with FSG. These are businessmen. These ain't clowns. No, these ain't clowns. And I'm not saying Mourinho's my top pick, but if I have to give a name, I don't know all the managers. I don't watch all the other leagues. So that's where my knowledge on all the other managers is not really there. But off the top, I would say Mourinho. And here why. FSG are business people. They can throw something in his clause that says, yo, your lips got to be tight. So if Mourinho doesn't... Look, Klopp is signing these deals. Don't overlook this. So FSG obviously bring Klopp to the table and says, what do you need to sign again? And he'd be like, if I got to stay tight-lipped, I'm going to need this as a bonus, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. And he's signing up the thing. So let's go with the fan narrative that FSG ain't freeing up the funds. Because it's just a narrative. We don't know this. Klopp can't say nothing about that. So he's not bringing the fans to the truth or taking us away from the truth. So if Mourinho comes in, trust me, whoever signs that FSG job offer, or they already know the requirements of being under that that ownership. And if they keep renewing, clearly they're happy. So when the fan base is in the civil war, FSG versus the Klopp in guys, that's just where we're at. And we're only here because of the manager. He won't say what it really is. If Klopp come out and be like, yo, FSG got me in a bundle, all these FSG in people will be like, yeah, nah, get FSG up out of here. So Klopp isn't really saying where he's at. And then FSG isn't the type of company to overreach from the football club and be like, yo, Klopp ain't doing good enough. But I'll tell you what, when J-Dubs was in that stand, a lot of players was playing out of their skin. Now, are they saying we need the owners to come to every game? Is that what it takes? Because if that's what it takes, I get on the phone with J-Dub and be like, you know what? Send me over there with the FSG shirt on to represent you then. Because when the owners are in the grounds, the players play well. When they're not, it's just like, yo, we don't care because these men don't care. So I don't know what it is. But if it was to be a manager, I just need someone ruthless in there. Not too ruthless to burn down FSG empire, but ruthless enough to let us know what's going on.
Pixelated Pigeon says, hey, oh God, I miss club football.
One more week,
bro.
Let me ask this, though.
No. You ask. I want to ask you something as well, Bilal, and then I want Jez's opinion on it.
Okay,
focus. While I get myself some, because I need food now. I'm hungry. He's got me hungry. He does this to me every time. So, Bilal, I want to know that comparison, because very early on in Klopp's tenure, I did compare him to Arsene Wenger. Very early on. And now people are seeing why. Possibly, maybe I did. In terms of the loyalty, in terms of no one really knows if it's the owners or Wenger. Yeah?
Yeah.
I just want your opinions and speak on the comparisons of the two. If Zuberi, you see that comparison, and then obviously, Jezza, if you see a comparison, because you can't relate to that, your owners just sack whoever flops one season, you're out, right? But you work differently, and your ownership is basically based on, I won't say it, but just the way it's been come to light now. Yeah, forget your ownership, whatever. You ain't got no ownership really. Like, but I just want I want your opinion on the Wenger comparison to Klopp, and if there's something to it, or is it a total different ballgame?
There's definitely something to it, because this is a question I was going to bring up to Jezza as well, as in being a rival fan, quote unquote. How would you actually feel if Klopp leaves Liverpool? Like, what reaction will you actually have when he leaves Liverpool, or if he does? And the point with Klopp and Wenger, and this is from my perspective now, is that they're so similar. When you have big figures at a football club like this who have won trophies and actually play football, which I think is key, that the fans enjoy to watch, you know, you feel positive when you go watch a Liverpool game. You think, you know what, Liverpool today, they're going to get a few goals. They're going to play attacking football. Wenger, the same thing. We used to feel like, you know, despite anything, even if we don't win a trophy this season or blah, 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 we believe in Wenger, not only because of what he won in the past, but because of the football I'm seeing on the pitch. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. So that brought Wenger a lot of time. And I think that's brought Klopp a lot of love as well from Liverpool fans, because he, as you said, he gets a club. He's tight-lipped. You know, he doesn't air out the dirty laundry of Liverpool Football Club. When he's not happy, you don't know if Klopp's not happy. He's keeping it to himself. He's not happy. He's going to tell the FSG. He's going to tell the people in the boardroom, listen, I'm not happy about this sort of situation. He's that sort of man. He's that sort of figure. And I honestly don't think there's many managers in world football that can actually take on that kind of role and responsibility of being that sort of character and personality. Because when you're Klopp, and when you're Wenger, let's say at Arsenal, you've got to be a guy who's willing to take all the bullets for the club. You have to be the guy who's willing to clean up all the messes of the club. You're that guy. You're the wall between the ownership and the fans, and you have to hold everyone together. I think a man with a smaller personality, you know, cannot handle that role. I think even someone like a Brendan Rodgers, you know, when he was at Liverpool, I don't think he's the sort of man who would ever lead Liverpool to the success that Klopp has had, because he does not have the character and personality to drive a team like Liverpool. And that's what Wenger did for many, many years. Later on, of course, Wenger was there for much, much longer than Klopp has been at Liverpool. So once you start getting past 15 years, and a lot of this sort of stuff with the fans, you know, and you get used to each other and the same old, you know, then the doubts start creeping in. Maybe people just want to change because it's human nature. But I think 6 to 7 years in with Klopp, I think you've got to give him a chance to actually rebuild this team, because you need to look at the team. A lot of players are aging. A lot of players will be replaced one way or another. It's not like Milner and Henderson are going to play another 3 seasons at Liverpool. I don't think they will. They're going to end up being replaced. I don't think Thiago even is going to play another 3 seasons at Liverpool. These players are all going to start being replaced, and you have the best manager to do this job, in my opinion. I know the record at Dortmund and Mainz after 7 years, they collapsed in that 7-year nonsense curse that people want to talk about. It's not true. Look at the way Dortmund's run. Look at the way Zorc does things. Look at the way they've actually been post-Klopp. And you can see Dortmund as well are not, you know, sometimes they do things in a very, very funny way. But with Liverpool and with Klopp, I honestly think if tomorrow, I'm being serious, if I hear tomorrow Klopp has left Liverpool, I'm thinking, all right, everyone close the shop. Liverpool aren't doing nothing for at least another 3 seasons, you know. But if you keep Klopp in the job now, I think one transfer window, a couple more additions, and Liverpool are right back up there. So that's how much I'm feeling it, and that's now I want to segue into Jason. How would you feel now if you heard tomorrow, oh, Jurgen Klopp, he's been sacked by Liverpool? How are you going to feel? How are you going to look at Liverpool? Are you going to be threatened by them anymore? Or are you going to be thinking, oh, Liverpool, it's going to be same old, back to what it was before, where they were struggling and just scraping, trying to get top 4 here and there?
For me, I would have the same reaction Grizz had when Tuchel got sacked. I would have a big smile on my face. I'd be celebrating. Like when Wenger got sacked, I was heartbroken. I wish he could have carried on for another like 5 years or so. But the Klopp thing, Klopp is still in his prime, guys. He's still in his prime. Don't forget, I stand to be corrected, but I think him and Sir Alex actually have a very close relationship. So he'll be
No,
bound. Or
it wasn't
not
really
really. I wouldn't say
close,
close, but I
yeah.
mean, I think he's mentioned that they've had a conversation or two, and mentioned longevity, and he's read his book and things like that. So he would have done his research, and he's a smart man. I would have a smile on my face because I feel like, Grizz, I don't know how you feel about this, but that assistant, that Pep Linders, he's doing a lot of PR. I think he looks like, like when in politics, when you have your vice president and then the president gets off the chair and then now they're running and it's like their time. That he gives me those vibes, because there was one game again at the Bridge where Klopp was suspended from the sideline and Pep Linders was on the sideline and he was doing a lot. He was doing a lot. I think we drew the game 2-2. Was it last season? Where we drew 2-2 at the Bridge?
Yeah.
Proper
Kovacic, crazy goal.
Yeah. So, and then he came out in the interview, and recently he's written a book and things like that. So I would smile, especially if he's the replacement. And the way the media chats about him is like every time they mention Pep Linders, they say, "Oh, he'll be a perfect replacement. He'll be a perfect replacement." However, yeah, I can't even put myself in that thing, because I can't see Liverpool fans completely turning on him, because I believe he's going to turn it around before it even gets to that point. He signed a 4-year deal, so I kind of made peace with that. Right now, my eye is on Arteta and Pep, because although we spoke about them, Pep hasn't signed yet, even though they keep saying he's going to sign. It hasn't been announced or whatever, to my knowledge. Maybe Grizz will know. And then you have the Arteta thing with the top 4, whereas I even feel if by some drastic miracle Liverpool are not in the top 4 and they finish 5th, I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think he's done too much. He's got way too much credit in the bank, and that's not their model. And especially after a 4-year deal, contract extension that he signed, I don't see it, especially when he's picking up. You got to look at the players that are in Liverpool's system, like in their squad right now, right? You got Alisson in goal, who's the best goalkeeper on the planet, all right? Keepers can play up until they're 40. Okay, let's just feed that little agenda that Van Dijk is on the decline. You still have Khanage and Joe Gomez, who's a very capable defender at his best, and he's still relatively young. So it could just take him some time to get over his injury. I know he's played bad, but we know that that's not the reflection of the player. And then when let's not touch the midfield before we click any other buttons. But then you got Noodles up front, and you got Jota, and you got Carvalho, who looks like a Coutinho regen. You got Harvey Elliott. So there are a lot of young players there that you can see him molding and them getting back to those heights where they're getting 95 points, 100 points, and they're going back-to-back Champions League. It's just not happening right now, purely because, it's worked out the way it's worked out. After the Community Shield, everybody was saying City in the mud. They had all their midfielders fit. You didn't need a midfielder, and things can change in football just like that, both for the negative and the positive. So
my only take, I agree with you that it's only 7 games in, and we've been in far worse situations, and in my opinion, no one's really shown great form apart from Arsenal. Even some would argue, Arsenal have only beaten the teams they were expected to beat. Their first stiff test came up against Man United and they lost. Some would say that. Even Man City's run-in so far has been lightweight. They've been playing teams 15th, 17th.
It's been easier than Arsenal, and people not saying nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. The only team that they came up against, the highest ranked team, was 12th, and they drew, which was Newcastle. They drew against Villa. They needed a refereeing decision to beat Palace, because it should have been 3-0. I don't know if you remember that incident.
Yeah,
it was 3-0. So to me, and if I speak to a few Man City fans, they're not very happy at all with the way their team's playing. I don't think Spurs fans aren't happy with the way Spurs are playing. Yet we're speaking about Spurs being absolutely nailed for top 4. But Spurs fans are not happy. Man United fans are feeling hyped again. No problem. Rightly so. They've won 4 or 5 games in a row. No problem. but people forgetting the first 2 games were worse, probably some of the worst results in their history, losing to Brighton at home and Brentford 4-0 or something it was, whatever it was.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make, and obviously correct me if I'm wrong, Zuberi is suggesting that he was never a fan. So he's saying from day one, he didn't believe in Jurgen Klopp. He liked him when he said that was to believers, but he didn't really become a believer. And so at the first sign of distress, it's natural that he's going to go back to doubting him again. I think that's where we're at. So I think for him, what is it? So I'm going to end this segment. We've got to keep it moving. We've got loads of people in the chat now wanting to come on. I want to end this segment into saying, what will it take for you to become a believer again, Zuberi? Or are you done with believing?
Oh, no, Grizz, these are your agenda, man. But if something was to make me feel a little better than I'm feeling, it's the you gotta admit when you're wrong. To me, as a man in all walks of life, if you get something wrong, yo, put your hand up. However you were taught to apologize or confess that wrong, just do that. Tell us you got it wrong with Naby. Tell us Ox better days or behind him, not ahead of him. Tell us you got it wrong. So
like who? Name me one big boy manager that has done things that you've just suggested. Name me times Pep has come out and said, yeah, I fucked up in the Champions League or whatever, or Ferguson, or Jose Mourinho, or Conte. Remind me of these great managers of the past that have done this kind of shit. I can't think of many managers that have owned up to their mistakes. They keep it moving. I mean, this is just a social media thing, man. This is just our fans. We want to... Why? Why do we want to say... What they need to do is fix it. We don't want to hear them groveling to us and saying sorry. We want them to fix it. That's what I want. I want my manager to fix it. I don't want him to come out and say, okay, for example, he even actually did. He said, I got it wrong in the transfer market. I should have gone for a midfielder. But that was after 3 injuries, all in the same... Hender, Ox, Naby, all got injured at the same time. So he thought, I got it wrong. But generally, me personally, okay, no problem. I'll let you carry on. But me generally, I don't want my manager coming out and saying sorry. I want him to fix the problem. So if Liverpool got a problem now, I want him to fix it. We've got a problem now. The way we're playing, the way our midfield's set up, we have a problem. I want him to fix it. I don't give a shit if he comes out and apologizes and says, yeah, I got this wrong. That's me personally. I don't know why you want him to come out and apologize. So were you okay when he says, I don't want to be number 1. I want to be a team that can beat the number 1? Is that okay to say then? To me, it don't matter, honestly. You know what a manager says in press conference and public? Honestly,
so basically you're saying press conference is irrelevant, holds no weight, no value.
Just to me, yeah. Just to me. Okay. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Let me give context for that. Sorry, Bilal. To me, yes, because I know internally to the players, he's total different animal. It has to be. He don't tell his players, yeah, you're good. You're good being number 2, or we're good with this. There's fire in it. How he operates, whatever siege mentality he uses through media, through press conferences, that's his technique. That's his method as a manager, as a coach. Every manager and coach has their own philosophy, how they work the media. Conte, Ferguson, I'm sorry to sound old, but you guys won't remember Ferguson. Ferguson was the same. Exact same. He ran the media in terms of thinking, yeah, I'm just here. We're good. Siege mentality every season. That's how different coaches operate differently in the public. It doesn't concern me. That's their business. What concerns me on the pitch, I'm concerned with Liverpool's performances on the pitch. He needs to fix it. I believe he will fix it because his 7-year history tells me he's the greatest manager in my lifetime.
So you rate Klopp over Pep? Because you didn't say one of the greatest. You said the greatest.
No, Liverpool manager. I said.
Okay, Liverpool manager.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. And that's why I back him for the statue. I definitely back him for the statue. The press conference thing, Grizz, you see how you separate that element of coaching?
Not everyone can.
Not everyone can. Thank you very
No
much.
problem.
Not
No
everyone
problem.
can. Yeah, not everyone can. And that's where you get these, oh, he's saying this because FSG's that. And people try to plug the gaps. And it's like, yo, he can't put his tactics out there and he can't put his dirty laundry out there. Sure, every time the press conference guy holds the mic, he's like, tell us something that can spin up a story. And Klopp is notorious. So, yo, I'm not giving you a new headline. So I get him with the press conference. But when your press conference is shaky, like it always been, because that's your tactics, that's okay. When your performance is starting to get shaky, now we got two shaky elements. What's really going on? Can he fix this? I absolutely back him to fix this. Two transfer window, we should be back there. It just depends on when we finish. Don't take this season and put me next to this season and be like, oh, 7 games in, Zubi lost faith and lost his belief. I've been on this when we're going for a quad, and I've been on that quad talk. Like, yo, we're getting this quad. I've been
but then
on
I don't
this talk.
understand though. But then I don't. It doesn't resonate with me. How then? It doesn't. I don't know if you guys know what he means. I don't. Bilal and
yeah, I just
me.
For me, I just feel like
I don't know what you
Zuberi
mean
has
then.
underlying.
Because I
Like,
keep
if
saying
you-
it and it's not
you
registered.
just said. Don't think I'm on this bandwagon or whatever you call it on this agenda because of the 7 games. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always had this agenda.
Yeah, you're saying
even the guy in the comments said I've always backed FSG.
No, but forget FSG for a second. Then you go on to say, I was on this bandwagon, which is anti-Klopp. It is what it is. Call it out for what it is. You was on this anti-Klopp when we're going for the quadruple, which has never been done, and you was backing the quadruple.
Yeah.
Yo,
I don't get it.
Also, I have a question. If you're pro FSG, surely you gotta be pro the guy they put in charge to be their front man. You know,
Bilal, I respect you. Thank you for seeing what I'm trying to. Thank you for seeing what I'm trying to say. The point I'm getting at, Grizz, is a lot of people that back Klopp, Bilal. You're an Arsenal guy. I talk to you. 90% of the guys that back Klopp wants FSG out or not satisfied with FSG. So when I came in the scene, most of the fan base was, yo, get FSG out of here. They're ruining Klopp's image. Oh my God, look how they're treating Klopp. Klopp is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I'm coming in, I'm like, yo, I was the only one back in FSG. So think of as far back as you can get the FSG talk. I've been backing them that long. Like, yo, you can't back the man that hired your brand new sliced bread. You can't get him out of here. He brought in the cream of your crop. The greatest manager Liverpool has ever gotten, they brought him in. How you going to say FSG out? That's where my debate and my angle is coming. And then I start looking at Klopp, and I'm like, yo, why Klopp ain't putting out these loose fires? And now these loose fires is blazing, it's blazing. I'm like, yo, people, don't blame FSG. Check Klopp, man. Klopp he's not as solid as he comes off. He makes some mistakes here and there. And guess what, Grizz? 7 games in, if every game represent one of his mistakes in the past 7 years, more of those mistakes have shown in his 7 games than over the past 7 years. So I'll give him the pass. We'll win a game. We'll be like, yo, that was a tough game. When we walked the league, most of those was 1-0 win and 2-1 wins. And I'm talking about last 10 minutes winners. Mane, Allison got us into 3rd spot. Allison, the goalkeeper. So we're lauding the result and we're overlooking these. Ooh, that was oh my God. A lot of us left Anfield or left the game like, yo, I didn't think who's going to win that. That was 90% of our wins. They weren't comfortable City, leg up 9-0, 6-0. After Buvac left, it was some subtle 1-0, some 3-2, some 2-1s.
Go on,
Jezza.
Let me just defend the dude. When you haven't won, first of all, you gotta. If you look at the Klopp evolution, right? It was he came in, he was stuck with Benteke and the boys. He got Benteke and the lads out. He brought in the athletes. Then you guys started running, and you guys would blitz teams in the first 15 minutes. You'd go 3-4-0 up. Or 5-0 up, and then the game will end 5-3. Those were the days I was worried about Liverpool in terms of Yeah, they want to go for a title, but they're conceding too many. Then the season where you actually won the league, when I knew you guys were serious, it wasn't so much City's drop off and the gap. It was the way you were winning games. And I've seen like Mourinho sides, especially in the beginning, first 10 games, the football is fluid, everyone's enjoying it. Start of the season, and then it's like, okay, we actually have a chance to win this now because we've got a gap, but now we don't want to lose that gap. So then you got to be more solid, and the rock and roll football phrase died. And I think you got to, when you think the pressure of 30 years without a title and all of that, I think that it was necessary to play like that in order to get the job done and bring the title home. I think it's not a case of whether he's tactically able to set up a team that is high flying and counter attack. Because I mean, we've seen in his early stages where you guys can blow teams away and he can set teams like that. And the best example was that night at Anfield against Barcelona. No one expected you to come back. When Messi buried that free kick, no one in football can say, with Divock Origi starting up front, Liverpool are going to come back and win 4-0 at Anfield. Absolutely no one. Yet it was kind of a situation where you were 3-0 down, you had nothing to lose, go and win the game and attack Barcelona and make it a night for the people that paid. And then you obviously have your football heritage things like the lights and Anfield. And then that also helps when you have those things. And I think in terms of like that Liverpool culture that you mentioned earlier, you don't need to be there. There's so many people online, like your James Redmonds, Jamie Carragher's, and your Grizzes. You can see the culture of a Liverpool fan as you can see it as a Chelsea fan or an Arsenal fan, and even in yourself. I think the love that you guys have for your club and the passion, and you want to see and you want to win every game, I think he shares that. And just like you're saying, yes, FSG brought him in, but FSG have also kept him happy. Because don't think with Carlo Ancelotti around the corner, the Madrid job is opening up now in a couple of 2 years. And if you watch the Figo documentary, Perez can get anything that he wants. So again, I think you just got the Klopp thing. I hear you. I hear your frustrations. And as a rival fan, I love injected. But I think I can't see it. The fact that he signed a 4-year deal, he'll turn it around, and you'll be screaming, "We're going to win the quad again very soon." All right,
guys, we're gonna have to call this segment. In fact, we're just gonna do this one before you go. Liverpool 12th man sends in a super chat. Says, "Go on, I'll let you deal with this one, Bilal."
It says first 100 games, Arteta won 53 games. He drew 16 times, lost 31. Klopp won 54, drew 28, lost 18. So similar records, I guess he's saying there. But the difference was that Klopp's actually won proper silverware. And yeah, that's the accomplishments that he's had. And the head-to-head record alone separates them from comparison. So he's basically saying, even if on paper, Arteta and Klopp look that they're having similar records, the head-to-head and the achievements of the Premier League and Champions League separates Klopp from Arteta. I don't think Arteta even... How can you put
Arsenal
Arteta in this
fans are
conversation?
mad. They're in
Yeah,
different
yeah. Liverpool
stratospheres. What
12,
the hell
man.
am I reading here? Thank you
Yeah,
for the
Liverpool
super
12,
chat.
man.
There
I
you
think
go.
you took something out of context there. I never
Yeah,
really
let
compared.
Zuberi have the final say.
Yeah,
Zuberi
let me
deserved the
just say
final
this,
say.
and I'll free it up for you, Grizz. I think what he's getting at, I draw a comparison as far as the effect Arteta had coming in and the effect Klopp had coming in. I never put Arteta over Klopp. I saw that in one of your earlier chats you sent in. I've never compared the two, like who's better than not. When I say Klopp isn't in the top 3, it doesn't mean Arteta automatically got in the top 3. So I don't want you to spin that up and think that 12 man. And you know I respect your opinion. Like I said, I've never been Klopp out. I never went on any stream and said Klopp out. My angle is defending FSG. And whenever a guy defends Klopp, they will shoot at FSG as the reason why Klopp isn't doing what everyone knows Klopp can do. So once again, it's not a civil war. Jezza, trust me, there's more bad days in your future once Klopp and FSG iron out these problems. But I do think it'll be nice as a football neutral right now because there's no football on for me. If Arsenal wins the league, I wouldn't be happy they won the league, but I'll be happy for Arteta because a lot of people don't give him respect, and I think he's a good manager.
Listen, you know what? Forget Arsenal. If somebody other than Man City wins the league, it's actually good for the Premier League. Because at this point, if they win it again, what is it? 4 years in a row?
Three
somebody.
years
3 years. We need. Yeah, he's gonna three-peat like Ferguson. And that was Fergie with the proper great team. Like this. We can't let this happen.
In Spain, Germany, and now possibly England. That is
guys. We gotta wrap this segment out. Jezza and Zuberi, magnificent chat. Always welcome. Always respectful. We keep it moving. Look after yourselves, my brothers. We see you soon.
Hey, take care, guys. Big up, Bilal.
Nice one.
As always, man.
Guys, that was a heavy segment. We needed that. That's good. There's over 215 of you guys in here. We should be over 100 likes at least now, people. Smash a like. This has been a passionate call-in. I didn't expect a Liverpool-based call-in today. Even Jezza, a Chelsea fan, wanted to speak on civil war at Liverpool.
It's interesting times, and the FSG supported angle, but
wow,
that's a bad angle. So I found it interesting. Yeah,
exactly. We've got another call. We've got a few waiting now. Let's get the next one. Atul, I think he's a first time. I'm not sure. Forgive me if you're not. Are you a first time caller, my friend?
I think my second time. I think I came on like a long time ago.
So. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. How are you? Hope you're well.
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Man.
What would you like to speak about, my friend? The floor is all yours.
I honestly wanted to continue talking about Liverpool because that was
okay. No problem. It's your yes. Go for it.
I don't know. I think anyone that's against Klopp, I think it's actually disgraceful, to be honest, for me.
Personally,
I think it's
I share your opinion, but I have to respect all opinions. But I share your opinion.
No, of course. Like
I share your opinion.
Yeah,
are you a Liverpool fan, by the way?
Sorry?
Are you a Liverpool fan, by the way?
No, I'm an Arsenal fan.
Oh, my brother. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome.
No, I just think,
but yeah, look, doubting Klopp is wild, isn't it? Sometimes you can get frustrated, like we all do, with the manager's selections or substitutions or in-game tactics. But
right,
if you look at the last 7 years from where we were, where we are, people blow that away like it's nothing. How can you just blow that away like it's nothing? Oh, I don't care where we were. Okay, then I don't want to talk to you then. If you don't care where we were and you don't if you haven't enjoyed the journey and trusted the journey and trusted the process to reach where we are, but yet now we're here, you want us to operate the way you want us to operate. It makes no sense. Who are you? Otherwise, I'm going to be Klopp out. Go on and be Klopp out.
I mean, everyone's entitled to thinking what they want, but for me, it's
that's
just
it. Like, absolutely
preposterous, though, for me, because 4 months ago, Liverpool were supposedly on track for a quadruple, and I was scared for my life. Like I couldn't have Liverpool winning any quadruple. So
true, yeah.
And last season, what 92 points was it that Liverpool got? 1 point behind.
3 seasons, he's reached 90+ points, which would have won 90% of all leagues since the league started. Think about that. But just a fucking lack, or call it fate or whatever, there's one team that finishes 1 point ahead of us every time. 1 point.
It's 20 minutes of madness pretty much for Man City if they didn't come back against Villa.
Can you compute that?
Yeah.
And that's the margin between the owner's shit, the manager's shit, and the players are shit. Look at the margins we're fucking with right here.
No, it's crazy.
It's crazy. That's what football fandom is, though, isn't it? Like, we all have our perception. But give us yours, man. Talk to us, man.
I don't know, because everything's quite, there's no context to anything. Because managers can come out and say one thing. One thing that I noticed with the Arsenal documentary, last season when we had a really bad run, when we were losing to Tottenham and Newcastle, and that's what initially costed us the top 4. I remember the press conferences after, when Arteta came out and he was saying, oh, we didn't play that badly. He was just defending the players or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And he was quite optimistic. He was still saying that we could get top 4, we could do this and that. And everyone was like, is this guy crazy? Like, what is he talking about? Did he watch the game? And then when you watch the documentary and you see what he was like in the dressing rooms, he was mad. He was pissed. He was pissed. And he's clearly doing that because publicly he still wants to support his players because he wants to get the best performance out of them. And to do that, you can't just like go publicly in the media and just start bashing everyone. That doesn't work. That doesn't work at all. And that's why, Conte hasn't been sustainable. Mourinho's never been sustainable for multiple seasons. So I think that to go by what happens in the media, I think is, I don't know. For me, it just doesn't work because you can't openly come out and criticize the owners who, employ you, because the next time you go through a run of bad games, you're gone.
Yeah. Let me tell you a secret. Right? Arteta was like, there was a point where I was so done with him, right? And I'm seeing the football was so bad. And this is the not last season. Last season was a lot better, but they got to a point where I'm seeing how bad we're playing. There was one game against Tottenham, I don't know if you remember, at their stadium, where they were just doing crosses into the box with no idea of how we were actually going to score a goal. It's like watching England yesterday, to be fair, watching Arsenal play that day. And I after the game, Arteta says, we've played well. That was an amazing performance, blah, blah, blah. And that day I said, you know what? I'm not listening to another Arteta press conference for like a year and a bit. Honestly, the guy, because every game, I know this guy, I'm like, surely Arteta, he doesn't believe this. Yeah. So I might as well just let him do his thing. And I'm not listening to any press conferences. I'm just going to watch the game and that's it. I'm cool. Because at the end of the day, as we saw in the documentary, and it came to be true, like these managers, they defend their clubs. Arteta always says in the documentary, guys, I'm going to take it on the chest and all of that kind of stuff, So for me, the points about the press conference, I think Zub was making that point, you can't take it too seriously sometimes because these managers are trained. They always have media guys near them, They're trained in the art of deflection at times and they know how to spin a narrative. These guys are trained in this way. So yeah, on that point, in terms of press conferences, you can't take it too seriously. And Klopp, as I keep saying, man, as a Liverpool fan, I know 99% of Liverpool fans are backing Klopp. Yeah, it can't be more than 1% that want him out, surely. And I think at this point that Liverpool are in, it is kind of like a transition because of the age of the players, because of the way the team's gonna have to change in the next 1 to 2 seasons. And then that new team that comes in maybe 2 years' time, that's when you can start judging Klopp. And he deserves that. He deserves to be given a chance to rebuild this Liverpool team. Because right now, for me, Klopp is Mr. You see Klopp dancing with Luis Diaz's brother, and all sorts of stuff. This guy is so Liverpool. You have to just let him chill and let him do his thing, man. But yeah, I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe they need someone. Maybe they need some fresh ideas in terms of recruitment. Maybe someone else that could help out with, the sporting director Michael Edwards or something like that. Maybe someone that brings a new creative spark, rather than maybe they're thinking too one-dimensionally because they've, I think Edwards and Klopp have been together for so long. Maybe they just share one philosophy of thinking. Maybe...
No, we've actually got a new sporting director now.
Oh, have you? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Edwards has been replaced by Julian Ward. So he's the one who's been in charge for the Salah deal and for the Diaz, or basically the Summers deals he's been in charge of. So, but you're right. There's no denying. There's absolutely no denying. And again, 95% of the fan base agrees that we need refreshing in the midfield, especially. Mm-hmm. But we didn't do it. And that will cause frustrations to override other emotions as well. So because we didn't do that, why the fuck didn't we do that? Okay, then that will offset any bad result escalating into talking about the defense. Oh, we need a defender as well. Mm-hmm. Shit, Gomez is finished. Okay, now we need a striker as well. Shit, Luis Diaz, Nunes is not the one. Because we fucked up in the midfield recruitment, it kind of offsets everything else as well. That's what I'm sure you guys like. Bilal just admitted you was on that kind of bandwagon with Arteta at the start.
Yeah,
you have these phases, you know what I mean? But the worrying thing, if it's I'm not worried, but The concerning thing, I guess, for fans that want Klopp out, which again, there's probably not even 1%. I'd say, it's like 0.5%. Is just let him do his work, and the proof is in the pudding. If he doesn't get his targets, which in my opinion should be a major trophy this season, then we can criticize it. But trying to sound clever before the event, for what? That you knew? What did you know? You didn't know shit. Like, how about the previous 6-7 season? You didn't know nothing. What's the point of wanting to sound like, oh, I knew this was going to happen? Did you know that we were going to finish third when we were 10 points behind? Did you know we're going to win the title after 30 years with close to 100 points? Did you know we're going to reach 3 Champions League finals under this system, under this coach? But now you knew. But I'm sure you guys want to speak about your club, man. Why are you making me speak about Liverpool, man? You guys are flying right now, man, right?
No, I mean, I'm scared about our club though, because we've
scared.
Our injuries. We've in the last few days we've racked up some injuries in critical positions again, which obviously we've helped ourselves in the market where we've got a replacement for Tierney. We've got, but the thing for me that still worries is in terms of continuing the standards that we set in the first few games. I think it's going to be really challenging if you take the likes of Thomas Partey out. Obviously with Tierney and Zinchenko, both of them were kind of seeing that they're both injury prone. So, I don't know. For me, it's scary, but it's like a good type of scary, because it's like, before I was scared that, we'd, be mid-table or whatever. And now it seems like, oh, we're just going to fumble it and drop, 3-4 points. So.
BILAL?
Yeah, no, I echo. Yeah, you know what it is? It's trepidation in terms of, I think Arsenal fans can sense that this team and this squad can do something. But the fear is that a few injuries, just like Liverpool have experienced, let's say, this season, and the team doesn't look the same. El Neni already, even though for me, shouldn't even be the backup, even though I love El Neni, but he's picked up a long-term injury. Even if you don't think he's out of that quality to be someone to play in the Arsenal midfield, he's still someone who's important to the squad. Partey, injury-prone all the time. Tomiyasu, you never know when the next injury is going to come with him, as it's been proven, despite how good of a player he is. So I think Arsenal fans are at the point where they can see the team that is building. They can see the team is exciting. It's got young players. You see Fabio Vieira coming on the other day for Odegaard, another positive sign. You're seeing players like Nketiah develop. Smith Rowe hasn't even... another player who's injured right now, If he comes back, and that's good for the squad. But it's that okay, the team, it's like it could go either way. You know what I mean? So I think Arsenal needs to survive until we get past this month, get to the World Cup, come back, regroup, and then January transfer window. I think that's when we see if Arsenal can do anything this season. Because if Arsenal is still within a few points of Man City by January, and then they can go and get a DM, put that money down to go get a proper midfielder in. Maybe if you can go get that Mudryk kid who wants to come to Arsenal, as it seemed from Shakhtar, and he's talking about it that he wants to move in January. If you can go get him in and a midfielder, and then for me, then I say, okay, now maybe the team can do something. But we have to get past this month, and that's why it's going to be key. The North London derby is just next week, and normally Arsenal versus Tottenham at home, that's easy work for Arsenal. But still, you've got to get the job done. I'm seeing Son scoring for Korea, slapping in free kicks. So it's going to be a big game. It's a North London derby. Then we've got Liverpool. That's going to be interesting, the build up to that game, the Liverpool game after. And then, we go into, I think, a couple of Europa League games, and then maybe Leeds and something like that. So, I don't know how you're feeling about this month, and I can get the fixtures up if you want to just see them.
For me, it's just, I hope we can stay, within 5-6 points of Man City. I mean, it'd be a miracle if we could stay, 6 points within Man City till December, January, because then I think that, the Cronkies will look at that and be like, okay, if we can make some big signings, maybe one big DM in January and splash the money, we might even, get closer and bridge that gap even more. So for me, it's just like between now and December, let's just try to limit the damage and try to...
So why is the Man City one postponed, BILAL?
So the PSV game got called off, when the Queen passed away. So that was meant to be on a Thursday. So Arsenal and PSV requested that because I think if this Man City game didn't get postponed, Arsenal would have had to forfeit that PSV game. So luckily they moved this Man City game, and then we're going to play the PSV game instead. So yeah, for the Europa League. So I think actually it's a blessing in disguise for Arsenal because having a run that's Tottenham, Liverpool, Leeds, and then you go Man City, I think that would have been really bad. But now you look at it, Arsenal just got in its 3 home games in a row. I think Arsenal been. This is a chance for Arsenal in terms of if you're going to play the big teams, you want it like this. You've rested players during the international breaks, despite the injuries we're talking about. You've got Tottenham at home, first game coming back. That's always a good game to come into in terms of after an international break. There's no excuses there. You can't hide in that game. And then after that, you got a Europa League game, but again, it's at home. No traveling. You can play your second team and you can get ready for that game against Liverpool, which appears to be, I think that's on a Sunday, 4:30. So I think Arsenal have been really lucky here in terms of what's happened with the Man City game, actually. And if they can get past those 2 games, if you get 4 points out of 6, let's say, you can build from there and then do something. In these other games with the Leeds, Southampton, Forest, you'd expect 9 points out of 9. If you're serious,
it's the most obvious thing to say, looking at those fixtures, but it's so true. Your next 3 fixtures will, in my opinion, pretty much define your season, which way it's going.
Yeah.
Like as you said, if you get, I mean, I don't know what you're looking for out of those 3 games, guys. What do you think you need out of those 3 games for you to think that? Okay, top 4 is ours. But can you go that one step further and challenge for the title?
For top 4, in my opinion, I think 7 points. I think a win between Tottenham or Liverpool and a win definitely against Leeds. But I think if we're looking at a title, for me, 9 points because you're playing those 2 games at home. For me personally, Liverpool are a world-class team, right? And if you want to win the league against the likes of Man City, Liverpool, and all these world-class teams, you've got to beat Liverpool and Tottenham at home. You have to. At home. At Anfield, Liverpool are a different beast. But at home, we have to be a fortress. We can't lose any games at home, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, listen, I echo those points. I think this is a chance now. The home games against the top teams, the big 6, as we've seen Arsenal this season, in terms of the teams outside the top 6, as we like to call them, I think you can see there's a difference in class between even the rest of the top 6 and even whoever's outside. That's why I think even before the season, I was saying it's going to be back to normality in terms of having a top 6 that is set, and then after that, it's going to be whatever. So yeah, I agree. If Arsenal are serious, you've got a massive opportunity. And I think if I'm Arteta, I'm looking at that, I'm saying I've got Tottenham and Liverpool at home, I don't have to travel even for the Europa League game. I've rested all these players, and Liverpool are not the Liverpool of even last season. So yeah, you've got to get all the points there. But if you get 7 out of 9, still for me, it's a good return, and it's still enough to still put you in contention if you can still pick up the rest of the points until January, and then you can start thinking about investment and if you can catch Man City. So yeah, I agree mostly with what you're saying. 100%.
There's a super chat that 975 Jamrock sent in. Appreciate the support, my friend. Thank you for the super chat. Let me get both of your opinions on this, because your manager has been accused of this. Maybe your ex-manager has been accused of this in the past, or maybe your current manager. We'll get your opinion.
No, not this one.
Okay, interesting. So he says, when is a manager so close to his players that there are genuine friendships there? Then it becomes blind loyalty and also too rigid in his targets. So I think it's probably more aimed at Klopp. But what's your opinions on that? Because Arsene Wenger was possibly even Ferguson had certain friendships with certain players, right? Or Mourinho, you have your close allies, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have them. Everyone has them. Your trusted lieutenant, so to speak. Every coach has them. But is there a problem if it gets too, does it get awkward if it starts affecting your decisions, or do you think there is a point where you shouldn't be too close?
Yeah, I have to go and answer that first.
I think it's possible because, but I've seen that in every sport though. I've seen that in a lot of sports, and even some sports, or even in teams where you have one really top player, and when they have a bad game, they don't get as much criticism as maybe another player that doesn't have that stature. So sometimes that blind loyalty or that blind faith can come in. But again, like, it's difficult for me to say because, first of all, I'm not an expert in man management at all. And that's what, these managers get paid millions and millions for. And I'm sure that they have their own, guidelines, or they have their own boundaries in terms of how close they can get, or what type of relationships they have. Because I know, like, some managers, like I've heard Simeone in Atletico Madrid, I've heard that he's very close to his players, and he goes over, has barbecues at their houses and does things like that. So sometimes it might work, sometimes it might not, but I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I think the Simeone point's a great point, because I was listening to Kieran Trippier, and he was talking about how when he lived in Madrid, they all live really close to each other. It's like a street where all the players and the manager all live together, pretty much. So they're all very close to each other. I don't think there's a problem with it being close to your players, because you got to be ride or die, man. You're going into games, you're going into battle every single week. You want your players, you want to be close, you want to have that, feeling that you guys are together. You're going to conquer every challenge that comes your way. And I think with likes of Arsene Wenger, for example, and Klopp, I think two perfect examples of two guys I think they really liked was, one was Coutinho with Klopp, and the other one with Wenger, who he obviously loved, was Fabregas. Two guys at the end of the day who decided to, pack their bags and go off to Spain and go to Barcelona and kind of break that trust. And even after they've, had their time there, they've still never had a way back in. So they will give you that friendship, they will give you that trust, but you got to use it properly. If you break it, it's game over. You're not going to get it back easily. And even guys like Ferguson, as Grizz mentioned, I think even, I'm pretty sure, to be honest, I'm pretty sure Ferguson was going to the court cases for Ryan Giggs and being his personal witness and all sorts of stuff. So he was willing to go to the end for his players. Yeah. If he saw they're stepping out of line like a David Beckham, he's becoming bigger than the club or trying to become bigger than the manager, then that's a problem. Off you pop, mate. But for the most part, these managers, especially if you're a big character like a Klopp, like a Wenger, like a Ferguson, you want to keep your players and you pulling in the same direction. You want to know everything about them. It's not just about, you coming to work and you leave and I know nothing about you. Ancelotti is another great manager. Everyone talks about how much they love him, how much he cares for the players, their actual lives, their children and stuff like that. It is important to have genuine connections. If you don't, then it could be like an Antonio Conte situation where he comes in, uses you, bashes you, throws you away, and then rinses and repeats with whatever guys he finds later on. So yeah, that's my take on that.
No, 100%, 100%. Atul, was there anything else that you wanted to discuss, my friend?
Top of my head, I'll probably give one last question. If you had a January wish list, say you had the opportunity for two players, and obviously we know that Liverpool aren't going to splash the cash. So two like realistic signings that you think they could make, or two signings that you would want them to make.
For Arsenal or for Liverpool?
Oh, we'll do both. We'll do both.
For me, for Liverpool, will be quite straightforward for me. Two. Wow. Okay. So realistic ones would be Caicedo from Brighton.
Yeah.
I'd go for another midfielder. I think we'd be fine everywhere else. I think Caicedo, Brighton, and I think Bellingham will be a summer acquisition. Although if they're out of the Champions League by then, I think we may even go for him in January. So yeah, I'd obviously, as I said, depends on Bellingham's situation with Dortmund. If he's out of the Champions League, then Jude and Caicedo, bring in two central midfielders, because you've given me a wish list, right? This is my wish, as opposed to realistic list. So yeah, I'll go with Jude and Caicedo. For Arsenal,
if Liverpool get those, Liverpool get Jude and Caicedo, it's going to be a different show every week coming on here. I don't think we're going to be hearing any, negativity or anything like that, honestly.
But if you want me to get for Arsenal, or if you want my opinion on Arsenal, I think you definitely need a midfielder as well, but a more DM type. So for you guys, I would go and get Sangare from PSV, and maybe, I don't know, what else do you guys need? What else would you guys need? What would you say? You're the Arsenal fans.
A wide player.
Okay, so then go and get that Shakhtar Donetsk Modric. Yeah, there you go. That's your two.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, so yeah, same pretty much. I'd say in terms of a DM, I don't know. Sangare was a guy I like the look of, but in terms of the job he'd have to do in the pressure he'd be under, like the way Party handled that pressure, you can see the likes of Lokonga and El Neni actually can't handle it. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
role is very specific. If I could chat to Napoli and get me a Lobotka, 100%, bring me Lobotka because I love watching him play this season. He's 27 years old. He's a good age. Maybe isn't the biggest guy, but the way he carries the ball from the defense and gets it out, that's perfect. But Napoli and trying to sign one of their players a myth. Sandro Tonali was another guy. Milan, myth. You're not signing a guy from Milan, Italian. So honestly, Bruno Guimaraes was a player that I loved when he was at Lyon. I don't know why Arsenal, when he was at Atletico Paranaense, didn't want to sign him. Ends up going to Newcastle. Fair enough, that happened. So I guess at this point, Ruben Neves is an option that I would like to have a look at.
Oh, interesting.
Edu's got a relationship with George Mendes. Wolves need some cash here and there, it seems. If it's between Neto and Neves in terms of one player I'd want them to pick from Wolves, for me it'd be Neves because I think that's priority.
Wow, ahead of Neto.
Yeah, because in terms of the winger, I look at there's so many wide options in Europe. I think I look at Musa Diaby at Leverkusen. I look at Mudryk at Shakhtar. There's players out there in that kind of position, but to get a player to be the linchpin of the midfield, it's not an easy task, you know. How many before Rodri, you know, at Man City, and even Rodri when he first joined Man City, for the first few months, people were wondering, yo, who have they signed here? Fabinho, it's the same thing. Who have they signed here? You need that position to be secure. So I think that's such an important position in football and the way Arteta wants to play. So for me, yeah, Ruben Neves, Mudryk, I'm happy. But there's this kid as well. Let me not forget. There's this kid as well from Brazil, plays for Palmeiras, which probably will be one of the targets for Arsenal. Danilo. I don't know if you've heard of him. Danilo is a big player, superstar, young talent. I'm hearing from Palmeiras in Brazil. If he gets on the agenda as well for Arsenal in January, it's something that could happen. Also, Douglas Luiz of Aston Villa might be an option for a cheap one just to come in and help. But yeah, Danilo, keep an eye on this name. I think in the next few months it's going to heat up.
Fantastic. I thought it's been very nice speaking to you, man. Thanks very much for calling in, my friend.
You too. Have a good night, guys.
Take care. Look after yourself. Bye-bye. Yeah, man. Some Arsenal chat to take my mind off Liverpool. But yeah, you guys are looking good, man. If you add a DM, because that's a glaring weakness in it. Like without Partey, you're just not the same team, and you can't be in a position where just one man makes or breaks you type thing. Nketiah obviously is a very good understudy to Gabriel Jesus up front. Wide men wise, Smith Rowe, you still got in the background, but the thing is, you haven't replaced Pepe, have you?
No, there's this kid Marquinhos, looks good, but he's just a kid, and it's one of them ones. By January, we'll know how far ahead he is. So in January, we'll know whether we actually keep him or he goes out on loan. I think that's what Arsenal.
Because he'll play all the Europa and Cup games.
Yeah, he'll play all the Europa. Then you get to see him for what he is. It's a chance for him. If he does well, maybe you don't sign anyone because he's proven himself. But yeah, it's interesting to see on the Arsenal front what's happening. And Liverpool. I think January's going to be interesting.
Guys, let me check the likes. We're so close to shit, man. We're not close to 200 likes at all. Just keep smashing those likes. Guys. Come on, guys. Let's get those before the show finishes. We've still got about half an hour to go. If that, we'll see. But let's bring in the next caller, and it's Quasi. How you doing, my friend?
Well, fellas.
Good. Good afternoon. Yeah, exactly. Out in the USA, nice and hot. Yeah. Is it hot today?
BILAL, don't talk to me about Ghana today.
I was going to mention that straight away, man. Come on.
No, don't do that. Let's talk about the second half, not the first half, because oh my goodness.
So go on. No, we need to talk about Ghana. No.
Well,
if you want, if you don't want to, in fact, why might it's your call. Whatever you want to talk.
No, it was an educational game. The coach finally came out and said he made a mistake. He chose the wrong starting 11, which I'm pretty sure he heard it from the Ghana fans. Probably told him, why did you make that players? Now the thing with the Ghana thing is most of the players are in teams that play back three. I'm not in favor of this back three. I don't know where it came from, where everybody thinks that just because I have three strong center backs, I should go back three. It makes no sense.
Who is your three center backs?
They use Amate, which I don't think he's ever a center back. I think
the Leicester City one.
Yeah, I think he's more of a DM. He's not a center back. They use Salisu in the second half, which he's still a gem. He's not ready yet because that man's head. And then they use I think Odoi was a wing back, but I'm not sure. But the problem is the midfield was non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing you just talked about, Pate. Ghana can rely on Pate because this
100%.
man was literally on the starting lineup and he tripped on the grass, and then they were like, "Oh, precaution reasons, so we got to kick it. He can't play."
So you think it's nothing serious?
It's not something. No, they say it's not.
They're
serious.
saying it's.
I don't know why he even went. I don't know why he actually went because he just literally got fit for Arsenal, and then you're putting him on a plane where if anything he feels wrong, you know he's going to end up going back to London, which he's done today. Yeah. And I don't know. I saw Andre Ayew and Jordan Ayew brothers, the Chuckle brothers.
Man,
get them out of here.
They've served Ghana well. I'm not going to bash them. They've served Ghana well. They've done their duty. It's time to go. You know, yes, they're young in terms of their 30s, but they started like 19. You know, they have that mileage.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy. If they're still starting for you guys, then yeah, there's no hope.
It was bad. It was really, really like the first goal. Makino scored, and the center backs are just standing there looking at each other. I'm like, what's going on? You know, and
did young Kudos get a chance?
Yeah, he was playing yesterday. He was.
Good,
he looked all right.
And he was wasted. That's the thing that is frustrating. You know, you can't have players like that and just waste them. We have a great team. It's just we need to find a better formation and better tactics to make everybody plays well. And if they do that, then they will cause a lot of trouble. But if they're just doing it just to, the first half was embarrassing. But the second half, when they brought in like Lamptey and the rest of them guys,
Inaki,
it was much better. Much better. But still, we got way to go. It was a good education game, you know.
Is this Souleymane, the winger playing in France?
Yeah,
Ren. Oh, I love him. Did he start? Or he's just
I don't think he started.
No, he did. He did.
He did?
Sure he did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
I love him. I love.
Ghana got a lot of speed up front. Williams from Spain. He was a good player. It's just the coach has to. I personally 4-2-3-1 is my bread and butter. You know, that's how Ghana played with Mutari and ACN and those guys in the 2006 World Cup. We had a lot of men behind the ball. When you play that back three, that midfield is very, very light. It looks like you packed in the midfield, but you're not. You know, because if one wing back doesn't track back early, the whole midfield is wide open. You know, so I think that Ghana has a lot to do before the World Cup. Otherwise, we'll be the first plane Ghana Airways coming back.
I hope not. I hope not, man. For your sake, I hope they do better.
We need to do it. But Brother Grizz and BILAL, I was trying not to show up today. I just want to sit back and watch you guys. You know, it's a beautiful day outside in California, especially in Northern California. But this thing of this 0.001% LFC fans with, Klopp needs to go, it's getting to me. And I'm going to address it this time, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I hear what Brother Zuberi was trying to say. A lot of people are thinking that FSG and LFC are two separate companies. No, it's the same thing, right? When people talk about FSG out or FSG is pinching, penny pinching, then I realize that you don't know anything about how to run a football. People, there's something called FFP. Now, Brother Grizz, let me know if I'm wrong. Is it true that no owner can use their own money to fund the club or spend into the club? Is it true, or am I making it up?
No, in theory, you're spot on.
Okay. So that means FSG can't spend their own money, because if they were allowed, PSG and City and now Newcastle will just win everything every single year, right? So when people talk about, FSG doesn't spend, okay, you don't know anything about FFP. So when you listen to rival fans, City is spending, Abraham love his team. Bro, Abraham, after FFP, he never spent money. That's why they could not win back-to-back league. Every time he win 1 year, they'll go to 8th. Because Chelsea's model, let me tell people about Chelsea's model. Chelsea at one point had over 20 players on loan. Let's do the math. If each one costs 3 million to go on loan, that's 60 million. That's 2 players right there. When Lukaku came in, that was not money that came from Abraham's pocket. That's the money that they had when they sold, what's his name?
Tammy, Tomori. They sold all those guys and they got Lukaku in, yeah.
And made 100 million. They even have money left. Plus the year that they couldn't spend because they were on the ban. You know, so where is this thing of, oh, Abraham loved his team, and Abraham took his money back, 1.5 billion that he loaned to Chelsea. He went back to his bank account. They don't want to talk about it, but that was the reason why Chelsea was worth 4 billion, because they needed to pay him back. City took 600 million loan just to fund City. Where the money came in, I don't know where it came from, but we know that they took 600 million loan from a bank. Liverpool right now is so rich. Literally, the only reason why we don't spend 200, 300 is because we have a coach with sense. He doesn't want to just go and spend, and then he have a bunch of players sitting there not happy. Now, do we need midfielders? Yes, everybody have said we need midfielders, but he's not going to buy every midfielder that comes on social media. You know, so with this thing about, oh, Klopp and Klopp loves the team, people, Klopp is a 0.01% coach. If anybody makes him mad, he walks out the door. Mm-hmm. Perez was begging for him to come to Madrid, and he chose Liverpool. Pep can't sleep because of Klopp. How many times have you seen a coach win a league and cry because it's like, this guy is stressing me out? He wrote a book and put Klopp in one whole chapter. There's a reason why usually Pep stays at a place for 3-4 years and then he moves on. There's a reason why he's staying in a city, because in his head, I truly believe this, that in his head, he still feels like, I haven't beaten Klopp yet. Yes, I've beaten him in the league, but I still haven't beaten him yet. Why? I haven't won the Champions League with City. They went into a press conference and he said it himself. He said, I know Liverpool won this trophy, and I also won that trophy. And guess what? The following year, Klopp gets both.
Nah, so listen, you know what it is? When it comes to like Pep and Klopp, I believe, you know what it is? All the top managers want to come to the Premier League. It's so competitive. The money's here. Why would you want to leave when you're getting all this competitive juices going, man, for you? Like, honestly. And there's another point as well. For me, I know you guys want Bellingham and that, yeah? And I'm seeing the figures. For me, honestly, I don't believe in signings after a certain price. For example, look at Arsenal now this season. Our best signings, Jesus and Zinchenko, how much were they? 45 million, 30 million? Even Vieira, 35 million. I love them kind of numbers. You know, when it starts going about 55, 60 million, now we're getting into flop territory. We're getting into pressure, and it's too much expectation, and things can go wrong. So I don't know. What would you guys rather do? Would you rather spend 110 million or 150 million on Jude Bellingham, or would you rather split it up, let's say 340 million pound signings, and work that way? Because for me, I know when someone's top quality like a Bellingham, you can go spend the money, yes, but there's always that risk that the price tag isn't worth it for one player, man. You could use the money better. That's what I'm trying to say. And Liverpool have shown they know how to use the money better.
And that's the thing. And I think a lot of people think when you spend money, that means you've shown ambitions. Klopp was known for bringing people from nowhere and making superstars. For some reason, now the fan base forgetting that that's the same Klopp that league. Now they think that, oh no, go buy this person, go buy that person. And it's like, bro, yes, the loud noise are the FSG outers. The loud noise are these people who said, I knew Klopp should have bought more players. And then people with sense like BILAL and Grizz are watching, like people just watch it. Yes, we all want this, but let's wait, you know. Any rival with sense like you, BILAL, would know you don't want Liverpool to start playing well. Because when Liverpool start playing well, that it's curtains for the rest of the league, except that team called City. Right, and even them, they pray that let's go 10 games ahead so we can breathe. Because City is never going to breathe until Liverpool is totally out of picture so that they can focus on Champions League. There's a reason why City can win Champions League. It's because they focus on Liverpool and then they have to focus on Champions League. And one thing that I want to talk about, LFC fans think that always we have to win 5-0, 6-0. Listen, we all talk about heritage. If you know Liverpool heritage is Barcelona at Anfield, is Champions League at Istanbul, is that Grizz, if you remember when Klopp's first year when we played Dortmund, where we won by one goal, that is Liverpool heritage. We make things interesting. We create storylines that Hollywood can't even think about. That is Liverpool. That's why Liverpool fans are so unbearable, is because my team will do something that your team can't. That's one of the reasons why Chelsea fans hate Liverpool fans, because they have all this money, but then when they say, okay, let's talk about your history. The only 1 year they had is that year when they won the Champions League with Didier. After that, what else? We spend more money. Okay, now look at Lukaku. Liverpool is okay, Manchester United too, but we're talking about Liverpool. Liverpool is literally an artist sitting there writing a story. Who would have thought that we're going to beat Barcelona 4-0 at Anfield? I believe we were going to win, but the way we made it. And then when it comes to Trent, when Trent did that corner thing, it didn't hit him until he went to the dressing room and he sat there by himself, and then it hit him and said, oh my God, what did I just do? And there's a video out there, and I want people to go watch it. When you see it, then you realize that, oh my God, I literally have created history. That is Liverpool, and the real Liverpool fans know this. That's why when Liverpool is losing 1-0, 2-0, the fans are never empty. You never see Anfield going empty when we are losing, because I call it the Thanos snap. Bang, and then it's like 4-0. We're like, what happened? Even the year that we lost to City by 1 point. Liverpool versus Tottenham. They thought they won the game until the last minute. We scored 2 goals and the beautiful goal from Salah. So if you're talking about Liverpool heritage, please, people, go do your research. Go to the 60s, the 80s, and see how Liverpool heritage is. It's a storyline. It's a beautiful story. And there's only a few clubs in England or even in Europe that have some. For a long time, it was Arsenal and Liverpool. And then it became Arsenal and Man U. Liverpool and Everton, Liverpool and Manchester United. There's only a few teams that can create that Hollywood story where everything goes bad and then within 2 minutes it's more exciting. The Napoli game, yes, I lost my mind. I had a run video. But guess what, people? We lost to Aston Villa 7-2.
Yeah, listen, everything that you said, look, I agree with. Makes sense. We have, many a story and many a fairy tale. Let's hope it continues as well. I don't believe that the story is over or the era is over or anything like that. It's not. And even if it is, you start a new chapter, you start a new book, and we go again. That's all part and parcel of being a fan, man. Rant, rave, keep hope alive, give up, come back next week, have refresh your brain. But it's true though, isn't it, Bilal? It's true. Every club's fan base is the same. You give up, then your manager proves you wrong. Then you think, yeah, no, he's the one for me. Then not you, but then you start comparing him to the top manager. So Arteta from flop is now being compared to the likes of Pep, Klopp. Not by you, but just some. I'm just saying, or the players that were shat upon like Xhaka or I don't know, Saliba, who didn't have a future a couple of seasons maybe ago, now is being elevated. It's all part and parcel of fandom, man. This is what it's about. You have your highs, your lows. You take your rough with your smooth, and you keep going. You keep supporting your team in the best way that you think you're supporting them. If you think by ranting and raving on every platform is for you, no problem. That's for you. Carry on. If you think being overly positive and just not seeing anything wrong with the club is for you, no problem. That's for you. Or you can be in between and call out. When something's not right, you call it out. When something is right, you give credit. Extremities in all walks of life is incorrect, is wrong. In every walk of life, in every job, in every level of society, extremes is wrong. So try to keep a balanced thing, man. But Quasi, man, thank you very much for speaking again, my brother. Much. Always a pleasure having you on, my friend.
Sir. And I know we're gonna do well. I've seen it coming. When they come back, Liverpool's turned the corner. That's why I didn't want to be negative, but I feel like it needed to be said because trust me, Grizz, when Liverpool turns the corner, everybody will be like, oh my God, we got fans who making fun of us. Oh, watching Liverpool is like this. I'm like, bro, this is Liverpool. So, but before I go, please smash the likes. Please get to 200 so I could come back, please. That's why the contract me and Grizz had. He said, if we get to 200, our principal, you're going to be back next week. So please, people, help a brother out and check my channel out, Quisible TV. Thank you so much, guys.
Nice one. Take care of yourself, my friend. Look after yourself. Bye-bye. Yeah, man, let's get this 200, man. Let's get this 200 likes out of the way. It's been a fantastic show. I'm not going to lie. Like. Big up the panel as always. It's been a fat show, you know. I've got a couple of super chats that let's just get through. Okay.
That one.
Arif says, Grizz, 2007, 2018, 2022, which final hurt the most? It's got to be the last one, man. It's got to be the last one. Yeah, for me. A, I was there. And B, I thought we're going to beat them. And C, we deserved it for the season we had. Like after losing the Premier League, we needed that hurt, man. It hurt a lot. And if I'm suffering from it, imagine the players.
Like, mentally, it must be so mad. It must be so, because like a couple minutes away from winning the Premier League, and then you go and lose the Champions League by 1 goal. And Salah as well, to be fair, actually had a decent game that game, and he could have even put two goals away on another day. Could have got a couple in. So yeah, it must have been so painful, because going from quad to just having a domestic double, but it's not the big ones, man. It's not what that team deserved. The way they played, they were the best team by far. From January, I remember, especially the games Arsenal Liverpool played, I was like, this Liverpool is different. That's why I was speaking to my Liverpool friends. I said, you know what? The COD might happen, you know, because the way I saw you guys playing, I was like, this is very possible.
So close, man. It was possible, and we weren't playing great, but we were just so mentally fixated and winning games sometimes by just sheer mentality. We weren't playing great near the end of the season, man. We were just getting result after result after result, which kept the dream alive. And my God, man, thinking back, man, wow, what a painful ending. 975 Jamrock says, I believe you can put 31.7 million equity funding per year of your own money. Excuse me. But there are stipulations in terms of losses over the 3-year cycle. City sold a 10% stake. City done a lot of things, but that's another show. That's another talking point. Yeah, City done a lot of things behind the scenes. Pixelate Pitch is an amazing show. Big up Grizz. BILAL on the call has smashed the like, and it's been an amazing show. It has been. People, we will be back tomorrow with, of course, RedFellas on your screens. We will be ranking all the Liverpool squad up till now on a tier list, and scrutinizing and criticizing and praising and giving our assessments on each player of the squad. Should be plenty of arguments and disagreements. That should be fun and interesting. Monday, I'm not sure what we got. Tuesday, I believe we have the Premier League all-time legends versus the version of the North vs South. The Premier League, the current version was a magnificent hit. We will be doing North and South all-time Premier League legends lineup, so that should be fun. And then we'll notify you after that. I'm sure Young Bucks will be back this season, this week, and the FPL show will be back this week, right? Because fixtures are back.
Football's back, yeah. So yeah, I think most shows will be back this or next week rather. And we'll get straight back into it. It's going to be crazy month of October. And then World Cup.
I believe you're going to have my FPL table up this week, Bilal. I believe you should have my.
No, I lost it. I lost it.
I believe, but we'll come to that this weekend. You know what I mean? A certain Grizz Khan was entered into the FPL league But we'll see how you do. It's early days, early days. I haven't missed out a super chat. No, I haven't. People, thank you very much for your loyalty and support and love and affection. All the chat has been popping. You guys are great. Bilal is great. We're both going to be seeing you very soon. Take care. We out of here.